We have Kathy over in Pulaski. Okay, Rick,
Yeah.
me and David were just having this
Sorry.
conversation because I'm like, Kathy is set up in Pulaski, with Pat Roth, they're gonna and he's like, Pulaski. He's like, Pulaski. Which one is it?
It's Pulaski.
Fair enough. So I used to play sports for a high school. I went to a very small high school in Milwaukee, and we weren't big enough for our own sports teams. And I used to play baseball for the Pulaski Rams. And
Well, and in Wisconsin, that's probably okay, but in Indiana, the reason they call it Pulaski is so that it does not sound Polish.
ah, interesting.
Yeah,
It's an interesting tidbit because obviously in Wisconsin they lean into the Polish,
exactly.
just
Exactly.
kind of like my I didn't go to their middle school, or my older siblings went, but they went to Kosciuszko Middle School, so very heavy Polish influence up there
Yeah, sure.
in a lot of the things that happened. But I spent about the past 20 some odd years living in Indiana, so I will go with Pulaski, even though I got a Wisconsin quarter zip on right now because it's college football season.
I asked the question years ago, why do you pronounce it that way? And they said that this is the history. So
Very interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I because I lived in Illinois for a little while, and there's like a whole bunch of things called Pulaski everywhere.
Right.
It wasn't until I came here that I was corrected. Pulaski.
Pulaski. I'm gonna have to I'll lean into that because there's a lot of names of communities in Indiana that I do know how to pronounce, um, that are pronounced differently in other states.
Oh yeah.
And as often as I've said them, I've learned to love and pronounce them in the way that Hoosiers pronounce them, versus how they're pronounced everywhere else. So yeah, I'll lean into that. So Pulaski it is. We'll chalk it up to that, and yeah, we'll look forward to uh, getting our feet wet. It looks beautiful out there. Like I don't, I mean, it's sunny like everywhere. It seems like a bit more
Right.
fog up there in Pulaski, perhaps, but
Yeah, right now the temp here in Indianapolis is just a little over 70. It's kind of humid. We had some humidity move in. We had an entire week of sunshine and low humidity.
oh
It was
wow,
just beautiful. But the humidity moved in yesterday. So we've got a little bit of humidity and we've got just a little over 70 degrees. Still pretty comfortable.
okay. I
But
was
it's
getting ready to say like the humidity work just moves in just in time for the weekend when a lot of these builds start to happen. I always feel like if I have an outdoor activity and it's been beautiful leading up to that outdoor activity, like right when it gets ready to happen, either I mean, obviously it's beautiful out now, but like something you'd get some rain or snow in July or something crazy. But looks pretty comfortable out there, and I think it's awesome that these guys are getting after it so early in the morning on a weekend, and that's like so cool. And one of the biggest things that I've learned to be amazed about saws is just how um inconspicuous the work could be that's happening everywhere. And it's just like, but like internally the effort's so huge, and I think that's really cool. And in my short time that I've been coming to learn things about saws, has this been like something that's been developed like since day one, or how does this work?
um yeah, it's a work in progress. We can and Laura can attest to the fact that we're constantly tweaking, we're constantly making little changes here and little changes there. Just this year, our executive director, who'll be on here hopefully shortly, um, started us into building aluminum ramps, which are extremely quick to install, easy to install. They don't require the kind of physical labor that a wooden ramp does. and is we're hoping is going to help us get through our backlog a little bit better. So yeah, we're constantly tweaking, and I've said many times, our best ideas come from our volunteers. You know, why don't we do it this way? Have we ever tried to do it this way? You know, those kinds of things. And yeah, it's constantly evolving. And when we built the first one in 2003, we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. And you know, we're still working on the process.
So you said you built your first one in 2003. Where was that built?
Southeast side of Indianapolis,
Okay.
very, very depressed neighborhood. And but it was, yeah, it was it was the ramblings of an idiot, because we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. We just took a bunch of wood out there and said, okay, let's do this.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
But yeah, it's been an amazing, absolutely amazing ride to step back and watch what goes on. And what you're seeing here, these folks that are out, they really do have some fog up there in Winnemac. My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like it's rolling into. I didn't realize that it was that foggy. I think we had remarked she may have been the first one set up, and we're like, oh, what a beautiful morning. And yeah, it seems like the fog is continuing to kind of roll in there.
Yeah.
Um, that's
Rick,
definitely interesting.
Rick, this is Dave Burns.
Hey, David.
Hi. Uh, are we on your video?
You are, but you don't have any picture.
Dave, yeah, Dave, your camera's not on.
How do I get it on without getting out of my Zoom meeting?
Should be a little toggle within your interface there.
Pardon me?
There should be like a little button somewhere on your screen that turns on your camera.
Are you in the Zoom app on your phone?
Yeah.
If you swipe screens, you might come across a screen that shows like a camera with a line through it, signifying that the camera is off, and you could switch it on from there.
I thought I had it momentarily.
And try and
Okay. Now I'm seeing it on the back of my screen. Can you see it?
no.
Not yet.
Not
Or
yet.
do I? We got a guy in a blue shirt on his knees in front.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a way to see it on my phone because it's a little different here.
I'm seeing video, photo, portrait. I'm taking, well,
Omar didn't make it.
Speaking of Timothy,
Oh, well, give me 1 second. Let me get everybody up on screen there.
Hi, folks. Are we on?
Yes, I can see you and you can talk to me, but we just don't have you on screen. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
well, I am seeing the photo from my camera, but apparently it's not going to you.
Yep. I'm trying to find a way to open like a talk through to see if I can't, because if I open it on my phone, we're gonna get feedback, and nobody wants to hear that.
Tim, can you turn your camera horizontal?
Are you talk-
Perfect. Thank you. Yay.
Nice.
This is exciting. This is our first aluminum ramp that we're putting in of the day.
Wow,
We're
that's awesome.
We're doing two. And so this will take all of, I don't know, half hour. And then we'll be on to the next one. It'll take all of 45 minutes. This is rather exciting.
Yeah, we were just talking about the addition of aluminum ramps.
If you don't, we're going to be finished up here within an hour.
Oh, wow.
So do you want me to keep trying to get a picture on here? Just forget them.
Yeah, I mean, so I just did something that says ask to start video. Did you have like a little prompt show up on your screen at all?
Wrenches.
No.
Are you on that track? Do we need to come this way a little bit or no? No? I think.
I am in the camera mode now and I am seeing live action. I see it.
The other piece.
Oh, he might be in the camera mode for his phone and not the Zoom app.
Yeah, make sure you're in the Zoom app.
Well, I was, but then you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, we need you to turn the camera on in the Zoom app. Wow, look at that aluminum ramp. It just,
While he's doing that, keep an eye on that aluminum ramp installation. I mean, Tim might have been overestimating the amount of time it was going to take.
that's incredible.
Yeah.
And you see the crew's a little a bit smaller.
Yeah, you can just do it with a
Well,
lot.
and the advantage of aluminum ramps is not only a smaller crew, but also it can be an older crew, which unfortunately we have a lot of. And it doesn't stress them physically the way the wooden ramps do. So it kind of expands our volunteer base.
That is awesome. Now, I know with the wooden ramps, as I've learned, being Saul's adjacent, right? You have like the ones that you build completely on site, right? And then
Right.
you have some prefab builds that are kind of assembled like a modular home. They're at the shop and then brought out to the site and basically Legoed together. These aluminum ramps, this is just kind of a whole new level. Like in terms of like planning and
There's David. Excuse me. There's David. We got you.
Yay!
We got you, David. But your mic's off.
Are we on now?
There we go.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
Well.
Are you? So how do I switch it to the other side?
So I think if you keep doing what you're doing, it'll
He's
work.
on the phone, right? It's probably that little,
Yeah, there might be like a little arrows.
Down there.
but that'll be in your phone versus Zoom, right? Or no?
No.
In the Zoom app?
Sun is so bright out here, I can hardly see anything on my screen.
But you could just turn it around and set it up.
Robert. All right. Mumble. I did stack these up.
We will try that.
And then you're running fries.
That beautiful sky. I don't see a cloud up there. They're all in Winnemac. Winnemac still have the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kathy zoomed in on the black guy. Oh, that's perfect, Dave. That's good.
Absolutely. Great.
Okay, I'm having to gerrymander this because I don't have a bracket for my camera. Can you see okay now?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
That looks
perfect.
great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get back to work.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, David, I'm sorry I interrupted.
Nope, that's
you,
perfect. Look,
But your question was,
Well, wait, hold
Um,
on a second. Where's Dave Burns coming to us from?
oh, David's coming to us from Newcastle, Indiana.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I love how like you could really it's coming together. You could see people from all over the state. So cool. Oh, or we got Harry coming in too. Oh wait, hold on. I was distracted.
oh man, look at that aluminum ramp though. That's so cool. And like, are those like a bit like those seem like you could well, I wanted to start with like the planning process for those, right? Like what's the difference between like planning for like the aluminum ramp versus planning for like the wooden ramps that you guys been doing for a long time now?
The planning itself probably doesn't change a great deal. We still have to know what the grade is and how much drop there is and how much ramp we need and so on and so forth. That particular ramp that you're seeing there, they pre-assembled the handrails and everything. So basically all they had to do is to take it, as you can see, put it in place. And you know, they'll probably be done here in, you know, fairly short order. So the planning itself isn't that different. It's just as I said, we don't need as many volunteers, and the volunteers don't need to be quite so physically capable.
Well, let me interrupt you real quick. Harry,
Sure.
I'm trying to promote you to panelist. You have to accept so you can turn your camera on because you don't have the camera permissions until you are a panelist. We got Harry trying to zoom in here, take over for this empty corner. There we go.
I like I love the multi-view of I like all the builds happening. Like this is like so cool to kind of see this like at on a weekend, like all over the state, like all these ramps kind of building up. Going back to the aluminum one, we so in terms of the actual fabrication, how's that actually accomplished?
Well, it's really very easy. Everything obviously with wood, you've got to pre-cut the wood. With the aluminum, you just take parts and bolt them together, literally.
Oh
So
wow! So like each one of the like on the ramp itself, like the surface that you would actually travel on,
right.
are those done in like certain increments, and then you just bolt those together?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My goodness. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, oh, yeah, and I can kind of see the individual segments there a little bit, and you just kind of bolt what you need together. And you guys do that in house then, and with the aluminum ones?
We have a group in Bargersville, Indiana, which is near Martinsville.
You said Bargersville?
Bargersville, yes.
I've been through Bargersville many
Have
times.
you really?
Yeah, yeah.
I always thought it was Bargersville.
Yeah,
You mean like barter with a T?
Not like barge, like a barge.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
Bargersville.
It's
Bar-
Barger.
it's
Like hamburger. Okay.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I knew that. I got that name right.
And they've got a shop down there that was donated to them. And for the sake of the live stream, I wish I could remember the name of the company that we could probably
Cabinets?
ask Tim.
It's Cabinets by Nichols.
Yeah, okay, there's Tim. Well,
Yeah.
Tim, you ought to be answering these questions about the aluminum ramp.
I've been badgering Rick over here about these aluminum ramps, and you have all the info.
Yeah, it's going really well. Really, we're just getting the last little things put on here for the first ramp. This came over in a pickup truck, and we'll be heading over. We'll be heading over and doing one more ramp, and it's right now just strapped in the back of this other pickup truck.
That is so cool.
My word. Like it just amazes me. Like I'm just like, so you're just gonna, that's one whole piece and you're just gonna go over, set that thing up and anchor it in and she's good to go, huh?
That's true. And the fun part about this is that we have about 8 pieces like this in the shop. That's just literally, about a quarter mile away from here. And we're able then to take these and really prioritize people who are in need that need to get out quicker than others that can wait for a wind ramp. This is going to be a game changer for SAWS. This is so cool.
That's really awesome.
Do we know which Indianapolis build is, well, where did it go? The Indianapolis build.
We had one disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
that
they're
might have
still
been,
out there building, but it could be a connection issue or hopefully
that
it was
might have been,
battery.
yeah. What was Indianapolis? That was Kendall. It was Kendall in Indy.
Oh, okay.
I had the exact address, but not sure what part of town that was.
I believe that was on the southwest corner of Indianapolis with Jim Hamilton.
Okay, yes, it was Jim Hamilton's build. Oh, was it? Or was it Larry's build? Larry's build's in Martinsville.
Yeah.
We got Larry Wintery in Martinsville.
Yeah.
I
Another
don't
town
see
I've
him. I'm looking for his
been too
white
many
hair.
times. Or like I'm like seeing all the town names. Like I've driven a military truck through most of those towns at one point or another, crisscrossing the state when I was in the
Hang on, we
guard.
gotta
So,
get that leg straight.
so yeah, like Bargersville was one of those. Because sometimes you don't want to go through like major metropolitan areas, like the more congested areas, and so sometimes you just cut through small towns there.
Let's see if we can get Harry's camera on. If that's okay. Sorry, David.
Nope, you're fine.
Harry. Harry, are you there? Can you turn your camera on? Okay, maybe not.
Hold
Oh,
on.
there he is. Yep.
Darn it.
I take it to mean that he's working on it. It's just
Okay,
coming
all right.
slow.
Yeah, it sounds like he's underwater right now.
How's that
Hopefully
look?
they're not building a ramp underwater.
By the way, Tim, nice legs.
Yes, I put him on mute. Very nice.
Must be talking about the aluminum ramp legs.
Oh, there we are. There we are.
Nice recovery. Nice recovery.
Now we are going to secure this down by just a couple tap cons, just so we make sure it's stable and
Okay.
it avoids it being borrowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone doesn't ask for it. So we're doing a few of these little things here that we normally probably wouldn't do with a wooden ramp. However, it's to make it more secure, and we know, and we will be doing annual inspections on this to make sure it stays in place. And so if there's any problems with it, we'll come and repair things. So it's a little bit change of how we do things, but we have a very eager crew to make sure that this program works.
That's awesome. So not only is it more efficiently built, it comes with an extended warranty plan.
That's right, lifetime warranty.
There we go. Love to hear it. Like that's awesome to see the first one, being able to see the first one being built live. And yeah, that's awesome. I certainly hope that that really just kind of pushes the reach to more people. It's a blessing to kind of have a backlog, but also to kind of the challenge is how to meet that. And so seeing that's one way to tackle the problem set, that's pretty cool.
Tim, given the neighborhoods that we serve, how big a concern is theft?
It it's probably a bigger concern with aluminum because it's just lightweight. It took two people. It took myself and one other guy to lift this onto the back of the pickup truck. It is very, very lightweight, but very sturdily built. Um, we are thinking about putting some sort of air tags or GPS things on this too, so we can address that if we need to.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll keep tabs on these pretty easily, and we
Well,
want to
and
make sure they're not going anywhere.
I would think the homeowner, if they come out one morning and their ramp's not there, they'd probably get in touch with us.
Yep. That's what the maintenance brochure, thank you, Laura, for that, does state.
I'm going to cut real quick to, let's see. Let me see, I'm gonna share.
I don't know if Martinsville's trying to reach out or if they're just need reassurance that they're okay.
All right, I am sharing our fundraiser right now. I'm taking a little interjection. Okay, so so far we have our goal for today to raise 5,000 to help us work towards building more ramps for more people. Ramps are, of course, prohibitively expensive for people. So every dollar really helps us build more ramps. As you can see, we have the volunteers, we have the time and the effort, or we make the time and the effort, but we really just need those resources today to help us build more. And serve more people and get them out of their houses and get them safe access. So if you go to our link, I dropped it in the chat, help us meet our goal. So far we have, you can leave a little comment. We got God bless the volunteers. God bless everybody. And then we have some really generous supporters here that have contributed already. So if you have the ability to, your every gift really matters, and so grateful for everybody that supports us in any way that they can. Time, talent, treasure. I just wanted to take a moment and share what's going on with that. We'll check back in with our fundraiser a little while later, see how that's progressing. Let's see what's going on in our builds. Still working on some camera issues with Harry, but it looks like Martinsville, they're progressing pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I see some looks like deck boards going
Real
across
clear view.
the ramp there in Pulaski up there in Winnemac. That's more spread out part of the state. I went to flight school in Valpo and I drive up from Crawfordsville and kind of traverse all that country up there. Lots of wind turbines and cornfields, and those towns are spread out, quite a bit.
Yeah, so beautiful up there.
Of course, the interesting thing here is that, yeah, Pulaski is moving right along, but they've got another one to do yet today.
Oh wow! So
They're
they've got
doing two in
they've
one
got their
day.
work cut out. Same crew.
Well, it's kind of they started on this one, and then as they get to the point where they're more or less doing finishing, and they're real close now. It looks like they're getting real close to just having handrails to do. Then some of this crew will go to the second site and meet a new crew and build the second one. So Pat Roth up there's he's a great project manager. He's a good planner.
Wow, and that's that's also been really impressive to kind of see the amount of detailed planning that goes into it, and just kind of just the little things that go behind being planning a good successful build and streamlining those processes. And then also, with multiple builds like this, just like, it's really impressive to say, okay, here's how we're going to layer this together to, maximize efficiency and whatnot. Like, while this is getting cleaned up, you've got a crew that's going over to the second one. They're linking up with some other folks, getting that started instead of, finishing and wrapping up one and then going and starting the other one. I had the opportunity to just kind of go to the shop and like look around, and I'm like, I see all the just like and this is kind of me nerding out, but I see like the packing list for the boxes, what goes in what, where it goes, and just to give everybody at least an easy reference as to what you need, where you need to put it. And if it's not in there, then you need to go get it and put it in that box so that you have it at the build. And everything from that to the dedication of the volunteers, which we got to celebrate not that long ago, and that was a lot of fun. It truly is really remarkable that there are a lot of people with big hearts out there that just want to do good things. And this is a wonderful thing that's happening all over the state of Indiana this morning, with all these ramps kind of going up everywhere. And again, during build season, this kind of stuff happens all the time.
We have a very extensive corporate team building program where we have corporate teams come out and do these. Most of these today, well, no, I shouldn't say that. We've got some corporate teams out building today, but we have corporate teams come out to build. And on more than one occasion, we have had corporate types, presidents, vice presidents, CEOs, those kinds of people say, wow, I was really impressed with your organization, your planning, the way everything just moved along smoothly. And so what you're saying is a result of a lot of effort on a lot of people's part.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool too. For like the corporate build program, just hearing about that and the impact that they're able to provide. And I went to the one ramp build where we were doing the 4,000th ramp build, and I believe that was a corporate build. And just seeing, I saw quite a few satisfied faces, right, of people that were employees of a company that came out and participated in that build and actually saw like the results of their effort and teamwork just happen in real time. If I remember right, was it Walt that was the project manager on that build?
Yes, it was.
And so I got to see like all of the dedication from the support from companies out there, and then the dedication of our project managers, and just kind of seeing it and just kind of come full circle, and like we got Laura kind of reaching out.
Yeah, David. Well, I just want to interject. Kendall's trying to rejoin us. Kendall, you have to I'm trying to promote you to panelist. You need to accept that so that you can share your video.
You got her?
Please.
Yep. Need help? Here, let me have that stuff so we can grab a hold of it.
As Kendall rejoins, but yeah, just seeing the dedication to that in real time, like the big, like, it just kind of warmed my heart to see that as somebody who's just generally impressed by planning, but then like the appreciation and the not only by the client, but also by the people that participated. They had an avenue to do something good for somebody that day, and that was really cool.
Well, we're gonna have to make you our first New Jersey project manager.
Oh boy.
Yeah, give us something to do.
Well done. We're done, huh?
Oh my goodness. Oh, awesome.
What in the world took you so long?
This is fantastic.
Less than 45 minutes.
Yeah, less than 45 minutes. We just put this in. We
that's
as in
awesome.
they.
Ready to try it out?
That's incredible.
Oh, boy.
It is secure. It is
We won't laugh too hard.
well designed, very sturdy.
Who is our client there?
Our client is Mary Pate. Here she comes.
Well,
This is Mary. We're in Bargersville.
then,
But you're gonna have to have it when you get down there.
oh, that's right.
Yeah, let's see how you do.
Okay.
We're on there.
That's all right. I'll catch you, Mary Sue, if you.
I'm right. I bet you would. Oh, yeah. It got me down there and I didn't have to lift it up. That's cool.
See how you go back up.
Okay.
Ready, set, go.
This is a timed event.
I giggle.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And
I
there
know
you
there's
have
no
it,
rush.
sports
You just
fans.
gotta
That's
take
the
your time
payoff.
going up and down.
Yep.
I appreciate you guys so much.
Get your exercise doing that,
Yeah.
practicing it.
You smell that popcorn? I think it's in there. My knees.
Want to gather for a picture here?
Yeah.
We're able to do this based on a grant we got from the Johnson County Community Foundation. It's a matching grant that we raised $10,000, actually over $10,000, and they've matched $10,000 to put ramps like this in for Mary. And we have about 9 or 10 more people that are waiting for their ramps, and we're gonna get them in very soon. So thank you to the Johnson County Community Foundation, and as always, to the First Christian Church of Bargersville. We really appreciate this. And to God.
Yes. Remember.
Too
That's
bad
all.
all the viewers can't applaud.
So do you want me to roll
They
this up or
can,
not?
they can throw the applause emoji in the chat.
There you go.
They could throw that in there. Like,
Yep.
Oh, okay.
amazing.
Sign out or no?
Oh,
Grab a hold.
or Mike, I mean.
Here. We'll just go like this.
Oh, you're welcome.
There we go.
All right, there we go.
I'll let you stand behind. There we go.
Ready?
Oh, that's a good picture. Yeah, I'm gonna put that on the Facebook.
It's spoken like a true marketing
Larry.
director.
I did.
Kendall, you have to accept the panelist
Nice.
promotion.
All right, thank you.
You
for
got
your
it?
video. I love seeing all those green shirts out there.
It's on delay. Let's get to it. Now you're good now.
Okay, gotta do it all over
Okay,
again.
one more time. Okay,
Oh, one more time?
one more time.
All righty.
Okay. All right, technology.
Mozzarella.
Okay, I got everybody here down. I'm not getting everybody in.
You're not in it.
You got a thing.
All right. Very
Got
good.
it?
Got it. Thank you.
I stand in one spot very long, I start rocking.
Yeah. And when I get down.
That's
Okay,
awesome,
folks.
Tim.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And she's trying it again. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Get away. You got brakes on your handle.
Oh, I do. I forget.
That's so cool.
Oh, break with me?
No way.
Okay.
Get that, I have my.
Okay.
Oh wow, Pulaski, look, they got those deck boards on already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were pretty close to finishing those deck boards, and yeah, it looks like hand railings and
yeah, Newcastle's almost done.
We're gonna sign off right now. We'll pick up at the next build.
All right, sounds good.
sounds
All
good.
right.
Thanks, Tim.
See you in a little bit, Tim.
Well done, all.
Yeah, that was cool. That was so cool. Like
Yeah.
like that was so fast. He almost didn't get the he almost didn't get the camera up in time to capture the build. They did it so fast. That's awesome. So that's pretty cool that they got that they got the facility donated and they had that matching grant from the Johnson County Foundation. Just per in terms of like cost, what's the difference between the two?
Yeah, just soon you didn't ask that.
I know it. I know it. Look at me
The
probing.
aluminum ramps, just for perspective, the aluminum ramps are about 3 times as much.
Okay. And so is it something that say the ramp is no longer needed or needed to be moved? Is there some sort of recycling of certain portions of it available? Like how's that work? Or is
Are,
it just kind of like
are we still talking about aluminum ramps or
yeah,
any?
the aluminum ones in particular?
Yeah, those actually belong to saws.
Okay.
Unlike the wooden ramps, which we do not keep ownership of, the aluminum ramps are saws property. And so when they are no longer needed, it is incumbent on the user to let us know and return them.
Okay. And I see that's why Tim was talking about some sort of he said an Apple AirTag. Which trust me, I know all about Apple AirTags. Everything I use on a daily basis pretty much has an Apple AirTag on it. Don't lose it. That's just the way it is anymore. But yeah, that's pretty. So that's awesome. So at least you get some you get the maintenance with it. They're faster to build. Less labor intensive, and and while yeah, they're 3 times more expensive. You do have the ability to go back and grab it and reuse portions of it on a future build as required. So
Right.
that's pretty awesome.
And
Tim,
those,
but, go ahead, Laura.
uh, the average ramp costs about $1,500 just in materials alone, like raw materials. And then definitely the with the top and the bottom, varies widely, but how expensive a ramp can get. But then you think that a metal ramp 3 times that, it can be pretty cost prohibitive. And that's, we're a big organization, so we're getting things at lower prices because we're able to buy in bulk. We have the nonprofit, so we have those tax breaks afforded by our 501(c)(3) status. So if you're an individual and you need a ramp, or you need a handrail or something to help you come in and out of your home safely, avoiding falls, and then not having to rely on someone to help you, especially in an emergency. That cost, like how expensive a ramp is. And then if you're an individual, you're most likely going to need to pay for labor as well. So what we do is like pretty amazing. Our volunteers that come out and spend that time to help people with their access at home and have that freedom to move around independently. But it definitely is all thanks to donors and the people that support us every day that make this possible for people. So I'm really grateful for that Solace community for coming out and building the ramps and donating and supporting our mission. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we've got an awful lot of very dedicated volunteers from project managers on down. Um, but they're pretty ineffectual. A couple of years ago, we hit a bump in the road and got a little tight on finances, and there's nothing more depressing than to have all these people that are ready to go out and help people get out of their houses, and have to tell them, no, we can't do it because we don't have the money for the materials. It's really dependent. And you know, while we get Tim was talking about the Johnson County Community Foundation, that's a nice grant. A lot of what we do comes on the backs of the smaller donors. You know, lots and lots of people that you know, give a little bit in order to help out, makes a big difference.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. And that's the matching the matching portion of it, right? Like, so, you know, they say, hey, we're willing to put this up, and you know, if you guys can get X number of dollars. You know, the way it's explained to me, I'm a business professional, but not necessarily a nonprofit business professional by education. So, but understanding the importance of donating and how that could work. And you know, there's organizations that I hear just from, again, being sauce adjacent, that are you know, willing to help, and you know, and really get after you know, getting all of us to donate it, even if it's $5, whatever you can, to kind of move things along. And you know, I think that a lot of times people don't feel like they can do much because maybe they can't donate much more than that. And you know, but obviously, if 20 people gave $5, that's still $100. So and that goes you know, a long way towards building uh, you know, at least one ramp, right? And if we could build another ramp, then that's another client and another client's family that's impacted in a very visible and tangible way on a daily basis, to be able to live better lives than they were leading before. And I think that that's really cool. And for you to have that vision so long ago, not knowing where it was going to go, right? Because you just threw some stuff in a pickup truck and out there you went, right? It takes a lot of heart to kind of, you know, people think about things all the time, but it takes a lot of heart to go out there and try, and then to continue to try every day to kind of do these things, and to do it at scale. And you know, what we're able to show now, you know, with builds all over the state, and now we're talking about different materials, you know, and finding ways to help more people. I think that just speaks not only to you know, what you thought way back in 2003, but the people that were impacted by your vision, that saw something in it, and they're out there, you know, sweating in green shirts, and you know, with tools in their hands all over the state. And like, you know, you can't help but think that there's some good in the world still when you see stuff like this.
Well, I appreciate the comments, and I think one of the things that a lot of people maybe don't think about, and maybe even some of our volunteers may overlook it, is that there are a lot of people that are impacted by these ramps other than the person with the disability. You mentioned family. You know, a lot of times the family are caregivers. Friends are caregivers. Sometimes even neighbors are caregivers. And there are a lot of times we'll be asked, and Laura can verify this. We're asked for demographic information, and there's so much of a percentage of males and such of females, and so on and so on and so on. But those are the clients. Many times the ramps that we're building are as much, if not more so, for the caregivers than it is for the person in the wheelchair or on the walker, because it makes their life easier. Lots and lots of times we'll talk to a wife or a husband that whose spouse is in a wheelchair, and they're trying to get them up and down stairs, and they're not in much better physical shape than the spouse is. So there's a lot of people impacted. We estimate that over on the average, one of our ramps probably impacts an average of about 10 people each time we put one in. So, for 4,000 ramps, we've impacted quite a few people.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's kind of like something to think back on, and then kind of being able to grow that, and the different programs you guys have employed to kind of like, continue to have a donation base and a volunteer base, and and continue to again increase the amount of reach that you're seeing all over the state. And again, I just go back because I'm a nerd on the planning side of things. Everything from the point where somebody has a need, right, and they express it, and you guys are able finally to kind of look at that application and do all the legwork, and then whichever community you're working in, whatever the building codes are, planning codes, permit codes, all of the stuff that goes behind it, like it's really hard to understand until you hear one of these meetings. And I share an office, and I listen sometimes, and I'm like, oh my word, how much stuff goes into every single ramp build. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't happen unless we have volunteers to kind of make it happen, and unless we have the funds to make it happen. And that's really what it boils down to. And then, but again, we got to witness it with that first aluminum ramp, where she was able to kind of get in and out of her own home much more quickly than she was having to deal with before, and for a long time having to deal with it before. And now it's just kind of a big change. So that's pretty cool. And I like looking at this multi-view. If I could get the volunteers to do this every weekend, and we could just watch Saul's ramps being built all over the place, you could really see the impact. So this is really, really cool to kind of see our neighbors out there, our friends, our families, just kind of out there, doing good work for their neighbors, for their communities, for fellow Hoosiers. So I think it's awesome.
Looks like Pulaski is really coming along too.
Yeah, it looks like it's a race at this point. Tim was number one, but he had an unfair.
Well, he had an unfair advantage. That thing came out of that thing came off with a truck built. Like, let's see if you can't build two of them in two different towns before they get the one built. But yeah, and it looks like the fog's lifted up there in Winnemac, and it's now sunny again. It started off sunny. The fog rolled in, and Laura's like, I got to get a word in. I'm sorry, I get really chatty.
So David, Byron, our money man, he texted me and he said he's enjoying your Rose Bowl parade chatter.
I love it.
I like to talk. If you haven't known by now, I like to talk, and I like to talk about things that I think are cool, and this is really cool. So, I've always, I'm a lifelong learner. I just like to learn things all the time. And again, given my educational background and even my professional background, right? Planning is one of those things that like I felt like I was really good at. And so when I see good planning, it's just like I just want to learn more about it and grow from it. So like I see stuff in the way you explained how part of this crew up there in Winnemac is going to go start working on that next ramp if they're not there already, getting set up, and getting that job started while this one's getting wrapped up. That's really impressive to me. And that's hilarious. Rose Bowl chatter. You know what? I'm going to take that as a compliment. I've got a Big Ten team quarter zip on, right? Too.
Okay.
So the Rose Bowl absolutely fits in with the Rose Bowl chatter. I'll take it. Rose Bowl was always one of the goals for me every year when I was cheering for Wisconsin Badger football. on Saturday mornings in the fall. And here we are, back to football season.
Or have we given up on getting Mike and Harry visual?
I don't, yeah. So
mean,
Kendall is, I don't know what's going on there. I can't get him on board again. And I think Harry's probably just abandoned us to go build his ramp. So
You know what, though? That's a bit more important. We'd love to be able to show it, but
yeah.
it is what it is. Well, I think
And I know we have another aluminum ramp from Tim coming up soon. And then if there's time, I know Tim is going to do an interview with a client, and we're gonna have that a little bit later on too. So
oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it's gonna be
Less of me talking.
looks like Newcastle's going to be number 2. They look like they're
I'd venture to say you're right.
Yep.
They look like they are just
wrapping up there.
a bit further ahead. You never know. Winnemac might like work in a flurry, but yeah, it looks like Newcastle's just about done and putting the finishing touches on their ramp.
Yeah, Winnemac is still working on they're still working on handrails, but yeah, they're real close too. But I think Newcastle's just cleaning up at this point.
So what's the longest wooden ramp you guys have built? Like, yes,
119 feet.
holy mackerel. Like, was it like a kind of just like almost like a serpentine type thing? And
It was interesting. It was a couple of years ago. I think it may have been before with COVID in there. I can't judge time anymore.
we've been there pre-COVID, post-COVID, somewhere in there.
I think it may have been pre-COVID, but it basically was it was a split level house in an old neighborhood, and we came off what was in basically the second floor, and we did a zigzag in the backyard, and then turned and came down the side of the house to the front of the house. And they had two separate crews working on it, one working from the sidewalk toward the house and one working from the house to the sidewalk. So it was quite a deal. It took I think it took 2 days to build it. Wow. Yeah, it was pretty big.
2 days to build, and there Tim is in a pickup truck building 1.5 hour.
Exactly.
That's
I don't think we could have adapted an aluminum ramp to that one though.
Well,
There
so there's a use case for everything, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's a little bit of a limitation as far as the aluminum stability and in size, but certainly has a place in what we're trying to do.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just looking at these builds here, and I've seen they're trying to give us a bit of a better view of the handrails being built there in Winnemac. That was kind of cool. I was like kind of like peeking at the weather. We saw the fog roll in and then just kind of lift. And like I always remember getting up. Well, I always got up early in the mornings, living in Indiana, and you could almost tell what kind of fog was going to burn off by mid morning, and what was gonna stick around. And I just remember driving through many a 2-lane road, through semi-dense fog, and knowing that in about 45 minutes to an hour after I was driving through wherever, that it was going to burn off, because it's just kind of like the weather pattern there. And I always knew 90% of the time the weather moved from like west to east. There's some sort of variant like northwest to southeast, or being here in Jersey, you don't know where the weather's coming from. Could be coming off the ocean, coming from off the mountains. You have no idea. You got to keep your eyes looking on all directions. But no, this is really awesome to kind of see everything that's happening out there. Laura, do we want to check in on donations, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna zoom in a little bit closer here to these ramps that are getting close to being done. But yeah, taking a look, I just want to, give a shout out to, we have Jan Edmondson, who's just a longtime SAW supporter. We're always grateful for your support. Thank you for your gift, Jan. And then Jerry Binkley today. Thank you, Jerry, for your support. Very incredibly generous. Milford Robinson, who is definitely a SAWS insider. Milford has spoken at our events. He has been a ramp recipient, and he is a customer service volunteer as well. So he is all in the SAWS family. We love Milford here. And thank you, Milford and Byron, of course, and Denise and Shelly for your generous contributions. Thank you so much for your support, everything that our donors do. Your gift, whether it's big or small, whether you sponsor a whole ramp or a bucket of screws, it definitely goes to good use. As you can see, our volunteers out there making use of our materials that our donors support. So thank you to everyone. And it really looks like in Pulaski, I'm going to ask you to unmute Kathy. Can you let us know what's going on?
Okay, we are getting ready to travel to our second ramp for the day. So we've done the groom picture. There's a group going to stay here to finish these last few pieces of their handrail and sand it and everything. And then I'm going to video us driving to the next ramp, and we'll start the next ramp.
Oh, that's so exciting. Thank you, Kathy. The client, what's the client's name there? How did she react?
I talked to her yesterday when we did the pre-build, and she was extremely excited and extremely emotional. So it was good.
All right. Thank you, Kathy.
They haven't come out today. So if they come out, the group that's here will get a picture of them.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I understand every day is not always a great day, but
yeah,
grateful that you're able to be out there and capture those moments with our volunteers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Looks like number 2 is done. Only 19 more to go.
Today, all 20 of our ramps being
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's really awesome. I think this is pretty cool that we've had people stream in from different parts of Indiana. I was hoping Virginia might pop in here. I'm not sure. But I think that we could potentially do this another time. And now our volunteers have a bit of a visual to understand what we're talking about when we're talking about live streaming these builds. So they know how their participation is gonna by live streaming is gonna make a difference. All right, let's see if we can get another view in here. We can get Martinsville back up.
Yep, they are. They look like they're really deep, like in the middle of their build there.
That looks pretty. That looks like probably the most complicated one we've seen this morning. That looks like a switchback.
Yep,
Yeah.
I was noticing that where the one in Newcastle kind of comes straight off the porch there, and the one there in Winamac is just kind of like the coming off the deck a bit, and then but not the switchback that we're seeing here in Martinsville. So a bit more zhuzhing, if you will, with those, I'm sure.
I don't know.
I still think it's impressive that like a project manager could take somebody that doesn't really have experience with tools, and then there they are, like helping build the ramp.
Kathy's making liars out of both of us, David.
Is she really? Is there?
Yeah, that Pulaski is a big ramp. That is amazing that they have that done at 10 basically
in the morning?
10 in the morning.
Yeah.
I know their start time is usually about 8. So 2.5 hours for that ramp
My goodness.
pretty impressive.
They were cooking.
They were cooking. That's absolutely right.
And then off to the next one. There we go.
Laura, it'd be interesting and the end result, I know we've got, I think Mike's last count was 21 ramps for today. And it would be interesting to see how many total feet that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
20, yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be in the thousands, right?
Well, probably not the thousands, but our average ramp is 34 feet.
Okay, so maybe more along the lines
So
of
we'd be talking about,
600-ish.
yeah, 6, 7, maybe 800, depending on
Okay.
the ramps. And there you go, the cornfields of Pulaski County.
Yep. See, I'm going to flight school in Valpo. This is kind of like this was kind of the vibe. You just drive on, 400 south or 500 north, and it was easy to get around because you kind of knew as long as you knew what county you were in, you knew what part of the county you were in, if that makes sense.
Well, I gotta say, so up there, it's a big cornfields, but then we have the Bronavillity and their plant up there and their headquarters, kind of in the middle of all that, and they've really been incredible supporters. Now, they build accessible vehicles, but then they also really get behind the SAW's mission to build ramps for people that can't afford them. These are they'll do prefabrication of the ramps up there at Bronability. The employees volunteer. So Kathy and is a volunteer is from Bronability, and then our project manager Pat Roth, who is just pivotal, right, to the success up there, and the amount of ramps that we're able to build in that area. And it's really grateful for that organization and all the support they've given us over the years.
Pat told me yesterday that these two ramps today will be number 15 and 16 for this year.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have several project managers who really put in the work. I some over like 20 ramps for some of our project managers. What was it, Scott? Scott Turnquist is about to build
He's
about
at
25.
he's at 21 right now. And by the middle of October, he will be at 25.
That's insane. That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of work. Because the ramps, they're just, not just the building aspect of it, but it's also, the planning and the you got to sketch it out, you got to work with the client, you got to do waivers, you got to do all that stuff, the materials, the loading up, the cutting, and then yada yada yada, and it's just a lot goes into it. And to do that 25 times and then have a normal life on top of that, that's pretty cool.
Well, and I wish we could get Harry on video here, because I think Harry's kind of leading the pack at this point. I think last count with Harry was like 42. Yeah.
Because you got to figure, right? You're not building 52 weeks a year, right?
Well, but he'll
Harry is.
I mean, he might, but like that's so. How many ramps per week during favorable building conditions or building conditions in general, right?
Yeah.
Is he averaging? If you're, I mean, first off, if you're doing, like, anything, that's impressive. But like he's built, like that's kind of building like more than one a week, during building time. Like that's.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know, honestly.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure this out, because when do you guys typically start building? Like, let's say calendar year starts in January. When do we really get into build season?
It's really not chronological, David, as much as it is climatological.
Yep.
We pretty much build when the ground is thawed. We had this last year, we built we built more ramps in the month of January than we've ever built before. And it was because of the mild winter that we had. So, you know, we used to say that our build season was basically about 43 weeks long, from March through the first or second week in December. But the way the weather has been recently, we've built in the first quarter of this year, we built more ramps than we built in the first 2 quarters of last year.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I think that speaks to more than the weather. That also speaks to the increased effort and being able to like what I've seen in terms of all the numbers that I always hear from one year to the next, whether it's typically from Laura. She's always talking about what's going on and seeing that those numbers kind of grow, and that's pretty that is pretty amazing. And yeah, my guesstimation, right, was like, okay, well, probably somewhere late February, early March, depends on if the ground's frozen or not, right? But typically by then you're getting a few mild days in there, enough to where you can actually do things. And then Laura's raising her hand, so I'm going to stop.
Well, I just wanted to, call some attention over there to Newcastle. Looks like they're wrapping up, and our
I think
client
we're gonna-
there is testing out her new ramp. So I just wanted to, I popped that into the big screen there so everybody could take a look. Yeah, that's a nice ramp. Our ramps are ADA compliant, meaning that they follow all the best practices and guidelines for a safe and sturdy ramp. They're for every 1 inch of drop, there's a foot of decline, which means nobody's going zooming off any ramps, and then they're appropriately able to travel up the ramps. It's not, crazy steep angles. We see some ramps that people have set up that we come in there and we fix them up because the grade of slope is just absolutely ridiculous, and just completely unsafe, and nobody should be asked to have to deal with that just to enter and exit their own home. Yeah, I don't talk about this a lot, but my dad, when he got sick, and he went from being he had a walker, and then he went into a wheelchair, and the first floor of my parents' house, it's there's just one step up, but it took 4 of us to get him in and out of the house at one point. And just that one step, and that, like as a family, and for my dad as well, can be quite humbling. And also, it just kind of really becomes like the center of life. Like, what do you need to do to help, that loved one live? And whether that's, we make sure everyone's around, how are we gonna, is there gonna be somebody available to help get them in and out? Like, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis? So ramps that are able to, even like we see here in Newcastle, that are just that one step, that short decline, can really just be absolutely life-changing. It's something we don't think about a lot. If access is something that's easy to us, but it's something that can happen to anybody at any point in their lives, is the challenge of needing that access.
Laura, I think that's a really, really good point, and one that sometimes is overlooked. Yeah, a lot of our clients are long-term disease issued types of disabilities and so forth. But golly, a life-changing disability that can happen to anybody at any time. A car accident or a fall, or you just never know. So, this is something that Tim's fond of saying, that 10,000 people turn 65 every day. And so the demand for these ramps isn't going to minimize anytime soon. And it impacts so many people. Years ago, we had a build out on the west side of Indianapolis for a little guy in a power chair. And he was the sweetest thing you ever want to meet. He was probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old.
Oh,
I don't remember what his disability was, but he was in a power chair, so he obviously couldn't walk at all. And you know, his real joy was being able to be out playing with his friends without having to sit at the front door and wait for mom or dad or both to help him get out of the house so he could go play. And it's just, it affects so many people and in such a dramatic way. I tell people when I do presentations to groups, 1 inch, a person in a manual wheelchair can be blocked by 1 inch of lip because you just can't get over it. So yeah, no matter how small the impediment, it's really big to that person in that wheelchair.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like looking at looks like watching Martinsville go and that ramp they looks like they got that like kind of like that first run, if you will. And they're working on that the kind of like the landing before they go down. And yeah, that's gonna be a pretty big ramp as well.
Looks like you're all done, David. Oh,
Well-
you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now we can
There
hear
we
you.
go.
Okay. We had 6 guys show up, which I'm blessed to have that with 4 of our regulars off today. But anyway, we're finished in good time.
Absolutely. What was your start time this morning?
We started at 8.
Okay,
But,
so
but
not even
we
2.5
prefab.
hours.
Well, we prefabbed this Wednesday on our joists. And so we just brought those over and assembled them and then put the decks on and built our UEs here today and put our handrails and kick rails and everything on here. So this was a simple job. And since several of us were committed with other things today, we wanted a short one and we were blessed and got it.
Super.
So I'm going to
How's
sign
the
off.
how is the
Pardon?
client? Did she enjoy how did she react?
Very good. Very good. I've known this couple from probably 40 years ago.
Oh,
She
wow.
taught my kids Sunday school class, and they were refugees from Cuba, brought here by the Presbyterian Church, and have done well here. They had other relatives come as well from Cuba, and they've been a stable part of our community for a long time.
That's incredible.
That's super.
So it's really good to be able to meet their need today with this ramp. They both could use it, her in particular. So we're glad we could do it.
Thank
Super.
you.
Well, thanks for joining us.
All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sticking with us on the camera difficulties too. Really grateful to been able to witness that.
Yeah, that was my first time for this. So I'm glad we got it done.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right.
Looks like Pulaski is in position for number 2.
Yes, it does. All right, I'm gonna try and change our view here again. All right, so we've got glass guy up on the top. That is a cute house. That is a cute house.
Kathy, where in Pulaski County is that?
Well, let me ask her to unmute.
We are right in town, Winnemac now.
Oh, okay. All right.
The other one was just outside of Winnemac, about 8 miles.
Okay. All right. You weren't driving and filming at the same time, were you?
No, I rode with Pat Roth. Fortunately, I live right out there, so I just drove over there and then somebody will take me home.
Ah, okay. All right.
So you got a good shot of the Bronability trailer earlier driving out.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys have a great setup.
Yeah, we've gotten some pretty good sponsorships from some of our suppliers to get us some of these tools to keep in that and do as many builds as we do.
I'm assuming that Casey is not on the build, but I think she deserves a shout out.
Casey Zimfer?
Yeah, Casey Zimfer she's kind of the coordinator along with Pat.
Yes.
And she does a marvelous job and has from day one.
Turn that around 180 degrees.
For getting everything organized.
Okay.
Oh, look, there's our next aluminum ramp. They're all done.
We're in Franklin, Indiana right now, and this is for a 92-year-old client, Ibby Brown. She's not feeling too well today. However, her daughter will come out and celebrate with us once we get it up in just the next few minutes.
But no, just go in the foot.
Just hold it while you lay it lower.
I don't foresee us ever being totally aluminum because of the size of some of the ramps that we have to build. Martinsville's probably a good example. I don't think we could do that with an aluminum structure. But it's certainly, as Tim says, going to be a game changer in terms of being able to service more clients more quickly.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And I'm just like nerding out here. Like that ramp is just gonna go the aluminum one I'm speaking of that's just gonna get slapped on there pretty quickly. And then you've got the prefab builds, the wood builds that you're seeing, and it's kind of like the evolution, right? Like it started off where you built the whole thing on site, and then now you prefab some there in the shop, and then bring it out and kind of at least bolted together, but still a lot of labor involved in putting all those deck boards in. And then you've got somebody with the aluminum ramps that just like it's pretty much built. They just kind of line it up and tack it down and make sure it's good to go, and off we go.
Yeah.
It looks like we have a shout out in the chat on our YouTube to Stephanie Pentland from Tony Pentland. Not sure which one of these builds Stephanie is on, but we appreciate you guys and your support and your hard work out there building our ramps. Also wanted to give a thank you to Anonymous. We got another very incredibly generous donation from Anonymous, and the message sent was wonderful work. God bless. So some blessings sent out there from our supporters. Very grateful. Again, we're having a day of giving today. Hopefully you have a chance to check out the link in the chat for our PayPal. You can use PayPal or your credit card to donate. Our goal is to raise $5,000, which it might sound like a lot, but really that would help us build, at maximum, maybe 3 ramps. So we're able to serve 3 families with the freedom and access that they need. Or potentially some of our ramps can be quite cost prohibitive, very expensive, and it could, maybe only 1 family, but the support that you're able to provide, and whether you give $5, you pitch in a bucket of screws, or if you're able to a little bit more, so like $250 would maybe a platform, one of our 5x5 platforms. All those parts of a ramp really help come together. And as you can see, our volunteers putting everything together to build access for our neighbors in our community. So really, really grateful, and for all the gifts that we received so far, and anyone that's able to continue to support our mission this morning. So really cool. Looks like Tim's ramp is pretty much done. Love to see all those green shirts out there as well.
I got to tell him it's not quite straight on the pad.
You missed a spot.
You missed a spot.
You missed the spot.
Yeah. Boy, look at that crew in Pulaski County go. I mean, they're about to get the beginning platform is always the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Getting that in, getting it leveled up, making sure that everything's square. Because of course, if you don't start right, then the whole thing goes wrong. But it usually takes a while to get that done. But they're moving right along.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, it's just I mean, the teamwork that goes behind it, right? I mean, in both instances, we kid with the folks building these aluminum ramps, right? And how easy they've got it, but just the amount of effort on the part of both crews is amazing. But obviously, you can kind of see the labor comparison on the wooden ramp, especially there at the beginning, where there's not a lot of space to work, right? You're trying to get in there and get that set so that you can kind of push out from there, and then you can do more things at once. But like Rick said, that bottleneck right there, just getting that initial platform kind of set, level, and ready to go. Like you can see those guys really working hard to try and get that done.
We need to find out from Tim what's taking so long.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd love it if Mike could join us on his camera, or Kendall. Just love to see what would be going on there. Mike. I think he might be trying to figure that out right
Yeah,
now.
I just sent him a text and asked him if he needed any help.
Thank you. Thank you.
Probably needs another set of hands is what he really needs.
Yeah. Promote to panelist. Mike, I'm promoting you to panelist so you can turn on your camera. Get everybody one shot. Oh, there we go.
I thought I've been on this whole time, guys.
There we go.
And everything. I don't know what it was doing. So, hi, we're building a ramp.
But flip it over to landscape.
If you could
Turn the camera like this.
Oh, does he have his rotate fixed or something?
Oh yeah.
There we are.
There we
we
go.
go.
Yeah.
All right.
Hi, guys.
All right.
Oh my, sorry about that.
That's
No
all right.
worries.
So I was just considering moving the camera.
you can't see. I don't know if I can flip the camera. Anyway, so we have a line of bushes that's obscuring most of what we're doing back over there. We got building happening over here.
Now
Mike, where are you at today?
Sorry?
Where are you at today?
We're just east of Alexandria. We're just off of Highway 28. Building for Rick Clegg. And it's going to be nice for him. He has some real difficulties. Just that first step of his door is just a real trouble. So yeah, this is going to be great for him.
Well, and you're doing something that we haven't seen yet this morning. You're stick building.
There we
Oh,
go. Yeah, that's what I had saw, and I'm like, oh man, I don't see any prefab sections there.
No, yeah, no, we had materials dropped in the yard and we showed up and sorted, kept out. We keep good pieces for our handrails, and then we just start fabricating the pieces as we go. Here, let me walk you guys. I don't know who's on, but show you what we've got so far.
Oh, sure.
So we call it a porch overlay. So we've come up against the door, and we're going out with basically a 6 foot by 12-foot platform, and then we'll take the ramp off there and out to the driveway and over.
How big a crew do you have?
Well, we have 6 plus me, and the fun thing is 5 of those crew are family. Father, 3 kids. So, and they've done a number of ramps with us here.
That's awesome.
Okay. We're about to. This is the section we're working on now. This is where the ramp come out to here and then turn to the driveway.
So it'll end alongside the driveway?
It'll end right. Yeah, it'll end right where this kind of ramp section is sitting right now. It'll end right here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and they typically park. They normally don't park in a turn like that, but they pull right up here. He doesn't drive, so he'll have easy access. Just jump out and come up the ramp.
Well, looks like Tim's going to beat you with his second ramp.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. He's not done with it first?
No, he already did the first one.
Yeah. Well,
We're about finishing up here.
see.
I'm about to meet with the client's daughter to get all the paperwork done, and then we'll be on our way.
Wow, fantastic. Yeah, definitely a little easier than stick build. I'll give you that.
Just a little.
Yeah, just a little. So, all right. Well, I'm going to direct these guys and step away here. Now that video is working, we'll let you guys just enjoy the show.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Once we get things out of the way, I'll move the camera a little closer.
Awesome. It's great that we were able to get that working. So exciting. We got a shout out in the YouTube chat to Sam Mahler. We got 1 down today and working on number 2 in Winnemac. So thank you, Sam, for coming out. Marcia says hi, for helping us out there in Winnemac. Thank you, Marcia.
I'm just like sitting here just
Giving
watching
in.
3 different types of builds now happening like at the same time in terms of like all of the variety that I've, with the aluminum being the new one, right? But like in terms of like prefab, stick built, now the aluminum ones, different ways that they have to go about doing it. The processes are different, and and then how much longer it's going to take to build this the stick built one, right? Versus the prefab versus the, so while it's like exponential time savings, but also exponential costs in terms
Sure.
of one to the other.
Sure. Well, and Mike made a point at his stick build there in Alexandria of the people that are working on that and their experience. But I think it's important for all of our viewers to understand that this is not something that you have to have skills to do. We tell people when we make presentations to groups, if you can do this, you can help build a ramp. It does not take by the time you're done, you'll be more experienced than you ever dreamed.
This because that's the
drill.
drill driver.
The drill driver, yes, yes. Good point. Good point. I should have a drill driver that I can demonstrate, which I usually do.
Well, so how is a drill different than a drill driver?
A drill is meant to have a bit and drill holes. And it is a kind of a non-variable speed. A drill driver is meant to have multiple uses, and you can vary the speed, which comes in handy because we use them as electronic screwdrivers. And you don't want to get the bit in a screw head and have it strip it out because it goes off, uncontrolled.
That's a good point. That's a good
Plus
point.
the fact a drill driver normally is a lighter piece of equipment.
And safer, I'd hazard to say.
Yes, yes.
Interesting.
you gotta work-
I didn't ever know the difference between the two, honestly. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's we use mostly drill drivers. We started out our existence with just drills. But we have evolved into using mostly all drill drivers at this point, because you can drill holes with them, but it's more difficult to drive screws with a drill than it is with a driver, so we opt for the latter.
We just received another incredibly generous as our top donation so far from Anonymous, and they left us a message saying, "Sauce team, thank you for your community contributions and may God bless you all." So thank you very much for those blessings, Anonymous, and your generous support. It's really incredible to see everybody coming together. The Sauce community is so cool. Like, so we have everyone out there building, live streaming. We've got our people tuning in on YouTube. Hello, everyone out there. We got those shout outs in the chat to Stephanie Pentland and Sam Mahler. It's just and our donors. It's leaving our messages on PayPal on that campaign there, which I have dropped the pinned the link to our donation page in the chat on YouTube. It's also on our Facebook posts. So it's really cool to see everybody coming together and hanging out this morning. I'm loving this vibe. And I really feel the blessing. So thank you, Anonymous, and thank you to everyone who's donated so far for our Ramp-a-thon Day of Giving. Look at that.
Looks like
That's
it's
so
getting
cool.
ready to-
No, I was just looking at the
there you go. All right.
finishing touches there.
Incredible.
I'm
So
interested how
They,
they're going to.
so that was the second build. Where were they building again? The second one?
It was in Johnson County too. I don't remember exactly what city it was in. What city are you in, Tim?
We're in Franklin,
Franklin?
Franklin.
Okay.
Okay.
and we're done.
Oh my goodness.
Was that about a half hour? How many?
Well,
15 minutes
Mike,
to put this together, shop, and less than a half hour to put it on.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes longer to get here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mike Page doesn't want to hear it.
So now it's going to be like rock, paper, scissors for whoever gets the aluminum one, and whoever gets the stick built one versus the prefab. That's hilarious. That's awesome. It's so fast. That's so cool.
Okay, folks, we're going to sign off right now. We're going to go back and to the shop and probably look at putting something else together for our next couple. Not putting in today, but we will be putting it very soon. But
Well,
we're
Tim,
going to be quite productive with these.
can you tell us about the client there in Franklin?
Yeah, this is Ibby Brown. She's 92 years old. She's not feeling that well right now today. However, her daughter is out here who has power of attorney and such, and she's really quite happy. She's also the owner of this home too. So Ibby lives here with her two daughters, and they're all very thankful that this can go in, because we can now get out to doctor's appointments a lot quicker and really kind of re-engage into this Franklin community.
Awesome. Thank you, Tim.
And Tim, aren't you after you go to the shop, aren't you headed up north to Thorntown?
That's right. As soon as I get to the shop, I'll be heading to Thorntown, and I'll log on there and do anything that Laura asked me to.
Yay, we love Thorntown. Can't wait to see what's going on up there.
All right. Signing off.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, sweet. So
yeah, Tim's going to be involved in building 3 ramps today. The 2 that we just saw him do, and then he's going to be involved in one of the 2 ramps that are being built in Thorntown. Now, I don't think there's a whole lot more than 7 people in Thorntown to begin with, but we're building 2 ramps. We're building 2. Sorry, Thorntown.
I was getting ready to say, wow. It's just, but I mean, there are. It's interesting, right? There's all these little towns just kind of dotted out, all over the place, and a lot of them aren't much larger than a crosswalk. But you know what though? Like, the amazing thing is that you guys, as an organization, have also tried to increase your reach to where those communities are severely underserved with resources anyways, due to distance, obviously population base, financials, what have you. So even though few people in Thorntown, but I think what you guys are doing, that's an outsized impact for such a small community to go in there and build 2 ramps in the same town on the same day. That's going to get noticed there, in a place a lot smaller like that. Whereas in Indianapolis, right? The metro is over 1 million people, and there's just a lot more. It doesn't necessarily get noticed as easily. So even being able to be out there in these smaller communities, I think shows the impact in what SAWS is trying to do, and reach out to as many people as possible. And some of the best restaurants are in those small towns. There's just a lot of hidden gems out there. As a foodie, I'm always on a hunt for a good meal, and there's definitely some places out and about there in a lot of the smaller towns that they've got good grub, because if you can't do anything else, you might as well eat good.
Well, and I have to apologize to the citizens of Thorntown. I just looked it up, and they've got 7,200 residents.
There you go.
So maybe a small town, but a lot bigger than 7.
Yeah, it's 7,000.
There you
go. Interesting. No, that's pretty funny. He's like 7.
Yeah,
nope, 7,000.
Shout out to all 7,200 Thorntown residents. Woo woo.
Yeah, we're just gonna boost up Thorntown the rest of the stream, just because Rick sold most of them short. They were like, "There's more than 7 of us." That's funny, but but Indiana's dotted with all these small towns, you see a ramp, like even like this one here in Winnemac. That's most of the town's going to see it at one point or another, and they're going to have conversations about it, and they're going to say, "Hey, yeah, SAWS was out here doing this."
So, David, can you take a guess how many applications we get a week for a ramp.
All right. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to venture to guess. Oh man, I'm gonna be so off on this. I have no idea. Let's go with 25.
Oh, there you go. That's really good. I think last week we had 27.
Oh wait. No, I really no insider information here. That was really an organic guess. I had numbers in mind anywhere from like 10 to 100, and then I just kind of like, well, let's go this way, and it's just
So
some
we
deductive
get
reasoning.
ramp requests like we get organic requests, meaning like they just come from word of mouth or people hear about us through, our marketing. And then we also get requests from our referral partners, whether they're social services or health services. Some of the larger organizations for like senior services also will put in requests. We get requests from family members and neighbors or friends for people that they know need a ramp. So yeah, about 20 to 30, I think somewhere in there. Rick, would you agree per week?
Yeah, it averages, has been averaging, well, ever since, oh golly, probably the third quarter of last year. It's been 20 to 30 a week.
Yeah, it's it's a pretty steady stream. So so Rick, can you tell me what the process looks like? So after somebody goes onto our website and they click apply for a ramp and they fill out the form, what is the process after that?
Well, we have a very dedicated group of individuals that we call CSRs, and that stands for customer client service representatives. And they're kind of the advocates for the people that are making the request. The client service representatives, after the application is submitted, will receive notification that they have someone who has applied for a ramp in their area, and each of them has an area that they take care of. And they will call them and they will verify the information that's been submitted, address, phone numbers, income levels, and so on and so forth. It's important to our mission to be able to be good stewards of all these wonderful gifts that people are giving us today and in the past. So we make certain that everybody that we try to serve has either a permanent or long-term disability, and that they are within certain income guidelines as determined by the state of Indiana. So that we're helping the neediest of the needy. So they'll go through all of that. And then once they've verified all that information and determined that the person does in fact qualify, then they send them the necessary paperwork. And once we get that paperwork back, then we go to the site evaluation where we do measurements and pictures and so forth, and design what the ramp's going to look like.
So how long would you say that senior services also will hold on a
Sorry,
second.
go ahead.
Oh, did somebody was that
That was me.
okay.
That was
I
me.
was like, what?
I hear my voice.
It's like who stole
What the
Laura's
heck
voice?
is going on here?
So how long would you say that process looks for the applicant?
Well, our goal, and it varies, because of course we've got volunteers and volunteers have lives. But our goal is, once we receive an application, we want to respond to that application within 7 to 10 days. Once we have done the verification and given the client our paperwork or whatever, if they're renters, we have permission. Otherwise, just a waiver that they need to sign. We sit for 14 days before we go back to them and say, hey, we don't have this, we can't go forward without it, so on and so forth. So you're talking about more or less 3 weeks at that point. We try to do the site evaluation within a couple of weeks. So now we're talking about 4 or 5 weeks. Our goal is, and unfortunately, with the influx of 20 to 30 requests every week, we're really not very close to it. But our goal is to be able to provide someone with a ramp between 8 to 10 weeks after they have requested it.
Oh, that's in terms of from start to finish and all of the steps that we've talked about, from the time an application comes in, it's vetted, evaluated, approved, to the point where you're planning it and then out there on the site building it. Like that's actually a very efficient timeline with all of the things that have to happen from step one to 3,000, call it, in terms of having to do all these things. So that's, again, like I find myself impressed where like that's the goal and you're trying to do a lot in a little bit of time. Like that is like relatively speaking, especially with the fact that that's, the heavy reliance on volunteers to kind of push these efforts through and the dedication that they have to try and get this stuff done for somebody in a couple of months. And obviously not a moment too soon for a family that's looking for some help from somebody out there to basically, as Laura put it, right? Like that's the synergy of all their planning, right? When they have somebody with a mobility issue or something that comes up, that's that becomes the whole focus on how they plan their lives, how they go about their their daily living, everything from that we take for granted, from like grocery shopping to just a trip out to the park or whatever, like all of those things that we don't necessarily think about on a daily basis, that becomes the sole focus of their impact. So, to try and do that in 2 months, like that is amazing. And, obviously, it doesn't always happen that way, but planning to get to the point where those processes continue to exist in that way, with all of the efforts going on in the different variety of build applications and communities that you guys are doing and attempting to do, that's a very impressive thing that's happening there.
We have BL in the chat. BL6C3 has shared with us that Thorntown's population was 1,432 in 2020. So I'm not sure where that 7,200 came from, but
I stand corrected.
We're gonna get to the bottom of Thorntown's population.
7,200 to 1,432, but whatever. Thorntown is a cute town and I love it. It looks really when you go through, it's very picturesque. It kind of like I don't know when the town was founded, but it's got kind of like that old charm. It's really a cute town. And I will say we've also had a new top donation. Sarah Haggerty came in with a whole bunch of hearts and love, with a very generous donation and support today. Rick, do you know Sarah Haggerty?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. All right. I should have known, circling back to this Thorntown conversation, Stookies in Thorntown, and that is a very
Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. But you said Stookies in Thorntown?
Yep, just right on the main drag there.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, correct me in the chat, but that's the place to get catfish. if I'm not mistaken.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I was just like, man, what did I do in Thorntown? I knew I did something there. Also, if I wanted to take the back way to Crawfordsville from Lebanon, I also would go around through Thorntown and that way if I wanted to come in there on the east side of Crawfordsville. But yeah, no, that's yeah, I'm like, yeah, Stookies, duh. Like, yeah, absolutely. So,
Oh,
and yeah, that town is definitely not 7,000 people. Like I'm like remembering the road. I'm like, because Crawfordsville ain't much bigger, and Lebanon ain't much bigger in terms of like, um, they're probably equivalent size. I don't have the demographic data in front of me, but
but
they're
apparently
they're not bigger. Yeah.
apparently Thorntown was founded in 1827. That is from, so BLC3 has identified himself. It's Byron, our money man, going in there with those details. He's sneaking in there.
There we go. There we go.
Byron spends his entire life correcting me.
My word. I love it. He's doing it in the chat too, just to be a little troll. That's awesome. I like it.
Oh, and thank
Keep
you, Sarah,
peppering
for
us.
the love in the chat as well. Yeah, I just want to go back through. Let's see if we can if I can share my video real quick so we can take a quick look at our donation page. Do, 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 do. All right, so here is our donation page. I have the link is pinned in our YouTube chat. It's also on our Facebook. And we send it out in some emails. Hopefully you're on our email list. So our goal today is to raise $5,000 for this day of giving, showing the SAWS community how a whole bunch of love, everybody, feeling the vibes today. We've got our builds live streaming. We've already built several ramps that have already come and gone and served those clients and families out there throughout Indiana. I know we have over 20, I think we have 21 ramps building simultaneously. So, and right now we're at 20% of our goal. 14 people have donated. So thank you to all 14 people who have supported us today. We're at $1,098 towards our $5,000 goal. Our goal will help us build more ramps for those families because as we talked about it, the material cost alone of a ramp can average about $1,500, and our aluminum ramps are about 3 times that. So thank you so much to our donors so far that have identified themselves, and to those that prefer to remain anonymous. Sarah, sending the love. We got a God bless the volunteers. So everyone out there, our 21 ramps being built and all of our volunteers that are taking the day off. Appreciate those blessings. Doug Brown, thank you, Doug Brown, project manager, Saw's super fan. Doug, thank you for that gift. We also have a note from Anonymous Saw's team. Thank you for your community contributions, and may God bless you all. Thank you. God bless you too, Anonymous. Thank you, Shirley, for your gift. And again, another anonymous note. Wonderful work. God bless. Feeling those blessings. Thank you, Jan, Jerry, Milford, Byron, and another anonymous. Thank you very much. So thank you to everybody. If you wanted to support, you can go to this site. You can donate. It is a PayPal campaign, but you can donate through your PayPal account or through a credit card or debit card. You don't need a PayPal account to donate through this campaign. So just go ahead to that link that's in the chat right now. And we will check back in with this in a little bit. So thank you so much to everybody who continues to support this work that we do in our mission. So I just wanted to, trivia. I just wanted to circle back a little bit and talk about how long it does take from application to build. So I know ideally we would love it if it was a quicker turnaround, but sometimes applications, someone can apply and then not get a ramp built for them by SAWS for several months. What are some of the barriers that SAWS is facing towards being able to serve our clients that are in need in a such a quick turn in 2 months or less? What kind of things are prohibiting that quick turnaround?
Well, unfortunately, the biggest bottleneck, the biggest rate limiter are our project managers. We currently have better than 50 project managers statewide, and they all do an awesome job. They are, in fact, all volunteers. Some of them still working full time, but they all try to build as many ramps as they can. And as you can see here from these pictures, somebody has got to tell people what to do next, how to do it, keep everything organized and moving along on an even keel. So the greatest rate limiter that we have is we just don't have enough project managers. Getting volunteers, and sometimes I feel very arrogant by saying this, but sometimes getting volunteers is not really an issue. We have churches and corporations and social service groups. We have a lot of people that come out and build with us. So we find volunteers, but we have to have someone that's going to tell them what to do and show them how the system works. And that takes a little bit more commitment and a little bit more time. But if we had another 25 project managers, we'd be able to build, a couple of hundred more ramps a year. So that's our greatest limiter at this point. Obviously, we always have to be careful of the fact that we have the funding, but the real limiter in our case is the leadership.
That's interesting. Yeah, I can see how that would be a challenge for a volunteer who's used to just going in there with the drill driver and then feeling that they're ready to take that next step to being a project manager. What would you say would be something that maybe a regular somebody who's maybe built a couple ramps and doesn't feel ready to step into that project manager role, what would you say to them?
We have kind of a two-step process for project management. If we have someone that has built ramps with us and really is enthusiastic about the mission, we can get them into a crew leader role. And a crew leader is basically just someone you won't notice because you don't know what Pat Roth looks like, but you're not seeing Pat Roth in the Winamac build because Pat is, if you see him, it's in a supervisory role. So the project manager is a supervisor. The crew leader is the person that is kind of the wing person for the project manager, and they will answer questions. They will tell people this needs to go this way, not this way. But that's basically a show up and work type of situation. There's no particular in advance planning and so forth involved with that position. So we kind of start people off in that position, and then some of them evolve into actual project managers.
That's yeah. And obviously as you're looking to create impact and increase efficiency, having good qualified trained project managers, that's kind of that pivot point from you know, obviously the brainiacs that do all the planning, right? And then the people that kind of, you know, put metal screws in the wood, or in the aluminum, put metal on metal or metal into concrete, right? And just really trying to get that into action. And I think that you know, having been in that middle pivot point myself, is like you have to take somebody's vision, somebody's plan, and put it and make it tangible and visual. And the project manager is that key person. So very significant to have enough of those folks around that are willing to take on that, and not only the work but the increased responsibility of doing that. And you know, we've seen, you know, we've talked about, you know, some of the project managers that have really gone kind of above and beyond, you know, to ensure that that more people are able to you know, to get their mobility back, get their freedom of movement, and you know, getting in and out of their own homes and out into the world. So that's really cool. And you know, to hear you know, project managers building 20 ramps, let alone 40 in a year, in a year's time. Again, that just shows, you know, that not only are they taking probably their weekends, you know, maybe we've just seen a couple of crews, right, go out and they've built 2 ramps today, and they've really been getting after it. But to kind of do that even throughout the week, you know, at the sacrifice of something else that they could choose to do, or would like to do, they feel it in their hearts that this is something that they need and want to do for their communities, for our communities, on a weekly basis. So duly noted on the project managers, and how important they are. Look at that sawdust flying, by the way. Just like
That's cool. Catching the light. What do they? What
Yeah.
does Tim call it? Man glitter.
Man glitter.
Man glitter. Oh, and so it looks like they're digging out there in Winnemac. What would cause them to need to dig? I thought that our ramps are floating. What can cause it?
It's all a matter of the design and the topography. In order to be able to get the slope the way it's supposed to be, sometimes a section or a part of the ramp has to be sunk a little bit in order to keep the consistency of the slope intact. And that looks like what they're dealing with here, is that they're having to even off the ground a little bit, so that the ramp is still floating. You know, it's not like they're digging holes and setting posts in concrete, but they have to keep everything level and on the proper slope.
So because we're not digging holes and doing posts in concrete, and because it's floating, what are the advantages of that for saws and for the client?
Well, actually, the biggest advantages for saws, of course, because having a floating system and not having to dig post holes has the biggest advantage is that you can fit the ramp to the supports. And if everybody kind of looks, the supports that are sticking up next to that gentleman that's got his foot up on the ramp, those are called UEs. And excuse me, the floating UEs give us the ability to adjust the ramps and platform sections adjust the supports to the ramp or platform section. Where if you put a post in the ground, now you have to adjust the platform or ramp to the support, which makes the building a lot more difficult and a lot more painstaking. The other advantage for saws is by building them this way, they are in fact removable and reusable, so that we can go back and take them apart just the way you see them being put together. And we normally can use anywhere from 80 to 90% of a ramp
Wow.
in other applications. We can't take, for instance, the Martinsville ramp that's getting pretty close to being done. We're not going to be able to take that ramp and put it at someone else's house because every build is different. But we can take it apart and use the parts in other ramps, which saves us a great deal of money. I think we recycled 18 or 20 ramps last year.
Wow.
Wow.
And you figure probably an average of $1,000 to $1,500 per ramp for the materials that we save. So that's a pretty significant savings.
Absolutely.
Yep. Nope. And it's awesome that, that program's in place in terms of like being able to, be good stewards of the resources that people give, and being able and being conscious of that and seeing what can be reapplied to another build or repurposed in some way, so that again, we not only is it being good stewards of everybody's donations, but also, continuing to help more people, like that goes to extend the reach as well. And so, I mean, when I'm trying to figure out in my organizational planning brain, is where I nerd out quite often, what you guys have overlooked, and I have not managed to find, other than the population of Thorntown. We've kind of goofed it up a little bit. I've not managed to find anything where I'm like, oh yeah, they really haven't thought of this. It's just kind of like, and it just shows how passionate everybody is that participates. Like you said, first part of the stream, right? Like a lot of the best ideas, if not all of them, right, are coming from volunteers that are out there kind of doing the work and say, hey, why are we not doing this way? Or what can we do to do this? And have you thought of this? Like, as a collective coming together and saying, oh yeah, that does make sense. And being a learning organization throughout this entire process has helped SAWS, not only grow, but grow in ways that we've been able to see here live on stream with the variety of different things that have happened, including the first aluminum build, right? And we got to see that live on stream.
That was pretty cool.
And that was pretty cool, and seeing how efficient that was. And so now, when we're out there talking to folks about what we want to do with those things, now they can kind of see the impact that it has, not only on the family that was provided that ramp, but in terms of, on our volunteer workforce and in the number of people that we could potentially serve based off of this. And again, the ability to recycle even more of that style of ramp in the future, to take it and reapply as many materials as we can to a future build, so it should, as eventually it would be required. So all those things are pretty cool. I'll keep searching though. I'll keep coming. I'm going to come up with something, maybe played Stump the Chump here, or maybe not. Maybe we'll get to the end of the stream and I won't have anything. I wouldn't have had anything to think of as Laura plays with her background filters back there. You are now in the middle of the of space. What do you got going on there?
All right, so
there we are.
Can you see that? I just wanted to, my head's in the way, but
no, this is cool. We got this.
Quick update on the SAWS Ramp-a-thon Day of Giving. We're up to 1598. Thank you so much, all 15 people who have contributed. And I just wanted to make sure that we gave a big shout out to Anonymous for our new top donation for $500. Thank you so much. That's an incredible contribution. Some of our smaller ramps can even come in under that, or if we do, sometimes we do a handrails or a step up or transition, and this would definitely, in a larger ramp, be able to sponsor an entire platform or deck boards, as you're seeing in Martinsville, some of that area. So thank you so much to Anonymous and everyone that has supported our Day of Giving. We are what about 25%? What's 16 of 50?
16 of 50, right? So we're
32%. 32%.
Yep.
right?
Give it a
32% to goal. So thank you so much. Every gift matters. But we just wanted to give a shout out to our most recent and top donation. So thank you so much. To Anonymous, sending though that love and those blessings to you that we're feeling here in the SAWS community. Really grateful for everybody that's a part of this SAWS community, whether you're able to donate or volunteer your time, or if you're somebody that you're sharing. We have a lot of our supporters that love to like and share our posts on Facebook and Instagram, and I'm really grateful for being able to spread the word and spread our mission, because that's how we're able to help more people and reach more people that might need our services, and we're able to reach and expand our volunteer base, so our volunteers are what power our mission. Our volunteers are what you see out here on these live streams that are out there building those ramps. We have a very incredibly small staff. I think 5 of us on staff, but our volunteers are in the thousands, and that's what makes it possible for us to build so many ramps and serve so many people. Is the amazing community spreading the word and helping us recruit volunteers and reach new clients and new supporters and donors. So thank you so much, everyone. All right, so
real quick on the link to donate and
it is pinned in the YouTube chat. It's also on our Facebook event page and the post recently on our Facebook page. So that's Facebook at SAWS Ramps. So everything we have is SAWS Ramps. We got Facebook SAWS Ramps, Instagram SAWS Ramps, LinkedIn SAWS Ramps, and then YouTube SAWS Ramps. So make sure you follow and like our live stream. So thank you, everyone. And then if you want to drop in the chat a shout out or say hi, tell us where you're viewing from, so we can see who else.
Yeah, so we can either A, mispronounce your town, or B, incorrectly guess the population size until I figure out what restaurant's in it, and then I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember eating at XYZ. So but yeah, awesome.
Looks like we got some likes. Yay. So cute. And it looks like we lost Mike's video. Mike, your video.
He looks like he's about a quarter acre away, or what was based off perspective. So I was like, wait, did he join us? I'm like, oh no, we lost his video.
Yeah,
and then we can get him back.
I'm sure we can get Mike back, and then anybody that's tuned in recently, we've seen our executive director Tim build 2 aluminum ramps so far in 2 different locations, servicing 2 clients and their families, and he is currently on his way to Thorntown for a 3rd build. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna have a pop in from Tim, and he's gonna chat with us and our client. So that's coming up as well. I know we're over halfway through our live stream, but I think maybe we'll kick it around for a little bit longer to make sure we get a chance to chat with Tim.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then
putting in a little bit of overtime on the weekend.
A little bit of overtime. I'm feeling the love. This is amazing. I don't want to stop. And our Day of Giving is going all day. So at any point, make sure to share our live stream, share our posts, and try to get everyone to feel these blessings that we're feeling today. And share
so
that.
This is going to be available on YouTube after the recording. Will we be able to kind of watch back and see all these things kind of happen? So is that correct? I'm not misspeaking here. We're going to be able to watch this back.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you can still continue to share it, and folks can kind of see the different all of the different topics that we broached here on the aluminum ramps, and seeing the first one built, to just kind of seeing people kind of out there in action. And again, this is just a fraction of what's going on today, right? We've got, we've had three simultaneously at this point in time, up to 4 or even 5, but that's like a quarter of what's happening out there today simultaneously. Although we've seen crews go from one build to another, and we had a live action shot of the Winamac crew traveling from one location to another, and going up on site. So yeah, that was pretty cool. We got to ride in the truck with them through the Indiana countryside to go watch that next build. And so appreciate everybody kind of setting those up and giving us a peek of into a day in the life of a SAWS volunteer / project manager, the payoff day, right? Like this is the day that everybody plans for, and then you get a project completed, and you get another client serviced, and and I see a lot of sweat out there, a lot of wet shirts, from all the effort that they're putting in out there. What's the temperature at in Indianapolis? Maybe we can get a guesstimate as what's happening around the state.
We're sitting at about let's see, my porch is 80.
Starting to get up there a little bit.
Yeah, let me see what the news station says.
That explains why the crews love to get out there real early and knock it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even this time of year in Indiana, late September, you can get some warm ones out there. I don't know anytime I love to go to the apple orchards out there, right? And anytime I'm going to the orchard, one of my favorite activities to do, you never know if it's going to be 65 degrees or 90, right? So,
Yep.
It seems counterintuitive to be out there amongst the pumpkins and the apples when it's 90 degrees, but that's kind of what happens in Indiana sometimes. And sometimes you get that bit of milder weather, but yeah, I could see why they want to get out there early, get all the get all the heavy lifting done, if you will, getting those things in place, and then kind of try to finish up. But if you're doing two builds, your second build, not only from the the effort that was exerted on the first build, but also the increased temperatures. That second build, you're even more focused to try to get that done right, and hydrate afterwards for sure.
Well, Byron says it's 80 now, heading for 90. That's what he said. Oh my goodness.
80 heading to 90. My goodness.
Stay hydrated out there.
Yeah, make sure to drink water. I do not enjoy that kind of heat. I'm a Goldilocks temperature kind of guy, so that's got to be like right around 80 to 85 degrees. That's my high. Like we
Tony
get past
Pentland
that.
says it's 79 degrees where he's at, and it's supposed to be 89 later today. Thank you, Tony. Tony, where are you coming to us from? Let us know in the chat. I know there's a bit of a delay.
Let me point out a little bit of an anomaly here. The guys in Winamac, Kathy's doing a real nice job of showing. I think earlier Mike at his stick build showed the overbuild where they built a platform over the existing porch. Well, here's a situation in Winamac where they're not overbuilding the porch because that would be very expensive. What they're doing is they're putting in a wedge at the door to get the person over that little threshold. Looks to be maybe a couple of inches. They're getting them over that and then down onto the ramp. So, a lot of different things going on. I think the thing that I like most about this is being able to see these things take shape. I mean, the people in Winamac are amazing. I mean, they're throwing this thing together like they knew what they were doing. It's absolutely amazing the speed with which they're getting this one done. Of course, the nice thing is, if you notice, they've got a pretty shaded piece of property there. So
useful.
That's a lot better.
That's a bit helpful versus being out in full sun and building, but yeah, still definitely getting into the I wouldn't say the warmest part of the day. It seems like it's going to just keep climbing at 90 degrees. And
yeah, they're predicting 90 here, and the really disgusting part about it is the humidity's come back. So we've had mid to upper 80s the whole last week, but it's been like 30% humidity.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's still
So it's
comfortable.
been
Yeah.
pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, you get that 60-70% humidity. That's you know, or better, right? Those dew points creep higher. That's not
Yep.
that's definitely not fun. But yeah, I'm just watching here and checking out you know, the Martinsville build that's we've been watching since this was one of the original ones. If
Yep.
I oh
Oh, David, let me interrupt you for a moment. We have some developments. Let me
oh
tell
okay, what's going what's
Okay.
happening? What's
All right.
happening?
Now we're 20 people who have contributed to our Day of Giving. Thank you, all 20 of you. You're incredible. We love you so much. So our goal is to raise 5,000. We're about 40% of the way there. We have $2,007 raised from our 20 contributors. So 2,000, that would definitely sponsor one whole average ramp, the material costs of that, or about half of an aluminum ramp. So we have we have our top anonymous donor is the $500 contribution we talked about earlier. Thank you so much. Anonymous, you are still our top donor. And then we have some recent contributions from David. Thank you so much, David. We love David and we love that name, David.
Yeah, big fan of people named David. I
Big
could
fan of
say that's
David.
probably the best name I've ever heard.
Thank you for such an incredibly generous contribution. Then we have another anonymous donor. Okay, whether you want to choose your name or you want to share or share your name or share a message or whether you want to give anonymously, every gift means so much to us. Thank you so much for those blessings. And thank you, Linda, for your gift for SAWS for St. Joseph's County. I wish that we could have a live stream of St. Joe's County, but I know that St. Joe's County live streams on Facebook often. So if you are a fan of St. Joe's County SAWS, make sure you check out their Facebook. But we love them. Frank out there is such an incredible project manager. He really makes that area work well and bringing accessibility to families out there almost every weekend. Really incredible. And thank you so much, Mary, for your incredible, generous contribution. Y'all are incredibly generous people. Our SAWS community is coming together. And then Deborah, thank you so much. We built a ramp for her husband. We're so glad that we were able to support your family in that way. And God bless you too, Deborah. Really, really thankful for anything and everything that our community is able to give and to give back to this mission. So every single person that was able to support us, thank you all 20 people who have donated. This is an incredible day. The vibes are so good right now. The community is really coming together. I really am excited about this. Love seeing our volunteers out there building, love seeing our community give and participate in the chat as well, and sharing on Facebook and this Ramp-a-thon. It's really an incredible day, an incredible way to witness the SAWS community and everybody coming together on one day. So pretty cool. And then I just wanted to circle back to the temperature there. So on really hot days, say like a July or August day when that humidity is really high, how do the volunteers like cope with that? We still go build on those days?
And we very seldom cancel a build because of any kind of weather, unless it's really extreme. If they're building, and we've got fairly good examples here. The folks in Winnemac are on a very shaded property. Martinsville, not so much. They've got some shade, but not a lot. We have a warm weather policy, and the warm weather policy dictates that when the temperature and the humidity get to what the weather people call heat index levels of a certain point, then we demand that our volunteers take breaks, get into some shade, We have canopies that we can take with us to provide shade if there's none naturally available at the site. If they're real hot days, we'll take fans with us and have a fan where volunteers can go and sit and cool down. We obviously carry lots of water. We advise the volunteers to bring plenty of fluids, especially paying attention to things like electrolytes. So we very seldom will let weather stop us. But we try to be very, very cautious, and make sure that nobody gets hurt.
Again, just like all of the planning factors that go into all the things, right? And heat being one of those, and you're like, okay, well, here's how we can mitigate it, as best we can, and work with the conditions that we're given, not the ones that we want, because those don't always happen. And and just like the plant again, it's just like you got the heat tote, the construction tote, the safety tote, all those things getting loaded in the truck or the van, and all those things going out there. Amazing. Again, I go back and I'm like, okay, like this is pretty cool. And so people that that volunteer with saws and spend their time with it, and a lot of the ideas were probably, again, it was like things thought about there in the office when you're brainstorming, but then also a volunteer was like, I'm really hot, and it was like, we should probably get you a fan. Yeah, let's get you a fan. And then that puts something into action, and work rest cycles and everything else. So good to see that our volunteers are taken care of, and appreciated in more ways than one, right? Because again, as Laura spoke to, like there's thousands of them, right? And SAWS doesn't move without the volunteers.
We had one of our volunteers out in West Central Indiana make the suggestion that we have a porta potty put on project sites. And we looked into that, and the process is daunting at best, plus the fact we have to get permission from the client to have that put on their property. And so we've kind of put that on hold for the time being.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've actually unfortunately dealt with porta potty contracts in my life, not very often. But yeah, because you have to obviously the permission and all that stuff, and then when to put it down in the service, and then inevitably they'll deliver it and they won't fill it. And then you're like, now you've got an empty plastic box. Then yeah. So all of the things that can happen with that's kind of hilarious.
Yep.
Just watching there.
Well,
Martinsville looks to be, what do you think? 70% done or better? I see like they're putting like a handrail in there at the bottom.
Yeah, I don't see any more frame parts, so it looks to me like they've got it framed. Now they just need to deck it and get handrails on it. So they're getting close.
I mean, that Winamac build, that is,
They're
I
just-
mean, that is moving along. Like like once they got that initial kind of platform on, like, and then like more hands can get around that thing. And then
Yep.
all of a sudden it's just goes together so fast. And you can kind of see basically once they get the deck boards on that run there, they're going to be down to ground level. So, and the way that crew's working, it seems like they're going to get that done in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, they won't be a whole lot longer.
All right, let's take a look here. Just watching here. Did anybody? You know what? I don't even have the YouTube chat up. I had it up earlier and then I lost it. Anybody reply with where they're watching from or what we got going on over there?
I know we have Marsha out there and shouting out to Winamac. So anybody else on our live stream, please drop in the chat where you're from, how you know SAWS. Let's give a shout out to our community out there. And don't forget that the Day of Giving is still going, and we've pinned our link in the chat to our donation page. And thank you to everybody who's already supported. So we have, how many ramps have we already seen complete their build so far?
You're talking live on stream?
Live on stream?
Okay, so I'm gonna estimate here. So Winnemac had one that they completed. Tim had the two, so that's three. There was the one
Newcastle.
Newcastle, that's four. So we saw, I know those four for sure off the top of my head. And then this is second, yeah. So four completed live on stream, I believe.
I think we've got four that we know of that are completed. There may be others out there that aren't streaming.
Yep.
Well, there's definitely others out there that aren't streaming, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we've got Jeff Bowen. He's a future ramp recipient in Anderson. Hi, Jeff. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us today. You can get a sneak peek of how your build's gonna turn out. Those volunteers, they come out there in the morning and they get to work. So thanks for saying hi and dropping in the chat, Jeff. It's good to have you on board. Yeah, it looks like
I think one of the things that has disappointed me just a little bit about our efforts here is we weren't able to find more people that could do the streaming with us, because the difference in from ramp to ramp can be just amazing. From the little one that we did with the aluminum in Franklin, to these two big ones that are in process now. It just, the diversity of what we do is just, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It is. And that was it. We saw that for quite a bit, in terms of like the types of, whether it was stick built, prefab, or the aluminum ramps, but really seeing the variety within the variety, right? And the types of, the different styles of homes and what the porch looks like. Is it a big porch, a little porch? Is it just a little lip? Like all of the different things that go into it. And then the terrain surrounding all of that and how you adjust for all that to make sure that you can build an ADA compliant ramp given what you got, right? Or you're sitting there and I couldn't begin to conceptualize, other than knowing the requirements, right? How to put that again into action and say, okay, this is how we would build this in this type of terrain, and seeing the different kinds. And we see right now, right? We've had everything from just a straight down, to ground level off of the porch down to the basically the sidewalk, where here a bit more of a creative solution where you've got like kind of like a little ramp down to the existing porch instead of overbuild, and then down to the ramp as well. And they're getting that done so quick. It's absolutely amazing. Like we're probably going to see this whole build kind of take place in the time that like we've been on stream, and this is the second build today. And really, we pretty much watched the whole thing. There wasn't much that they got started on before the camera got there and started watching and started showing this build in Winnemac for us.
Yeah, Kathy's doing a wonderful job of streaming for us. Just great shots, good action. I love to see the way we did a stop action video a few years back, and it's kind of interesting to see everything just almost literally fall into place.
Yeah, it seemed like it just, it literally seemed like it just like fell into like literally just kind of collapsed onto like where it was supposed to be, right in front of the house there. And like, if you were taking your dog out for a walk going downtown to go do something, and you walk down the street and you saw them there getting started, and then you're just now on your way back, like that absolutely impressive. Like they are moving. As someone who's done many a delayed upon delayed home project, with the wrong tools and the incorrect skills.
How many trips back to Lowe's or Home Depot in the middle
Oh
of a
my
project?
word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing frustrates me more to just having gotten back from Home Depot and thinking I have the exact thing that I need, only to have to go back. I've quit on projects before after the third trip to Home Depot in one day. I'm like, you know what? We're going to do this tomorrow. This is not the project for today.
The thing for such a big project, you know, they load everything in the truck and they get out there and they make it happen. And, you know, they don't have to go back and forth, or if they do, they still manage to get it done before lunchtime. It's
That
really
would be, yeah, well, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like the planning that goes into it and the volunteers that, this is their baby, right? Like they take ownership of it, and they're looking, and they're also out there making sure that things are in the right places. And again, being able to see some of the same faces at different events and different contexts, and realize the passion that they have for Saws and what Saws does, and how much a part of Saws they are, and as much as everybody else in the community that they've helped build, along with the staff there, and all of the donors that continue to support Saws, and the organizations that partner with Saws to kind of promote something good for the community. I think I think it's truly remarkable effort. And again, everybody that's been able to donate today, or anybody that's ever donated, even if it was $5, right? Like it all goes towards being able to do the things that you're seeing live on stream today. And what I'd love to say is, if in the future stream, we'll having more cameras up to be able to show you the variety and the place, and an even bigger impact, because we do, there's over 20 builds happening today, and this week has been a pretty heavy build week as well. So I've heard.
Because Mike, who I'm trying to get him to get his camera back on, but Mike said we're building about 30 ramps this week, which is it might be a record for Saws. I know we've had a record in the past of about 21 ramps in a week, so 31 definitely surpasses that. I think that I remember when I came on board several years ago, or a few years ago, that 21 ramps in a week, I believe it was 21, was because we had some mission groups come, and they were building several ramps, and that's how we were able to make that record. But I believe this week it's because of our Ramp-a-thon, and then several of our project managers took it up to go build ramps earlier on the weekdays. So some people prefer to build on the weekdays, some are available on the weekends. Although we build most of our ramps on Saturday, we have ramp builds going on all week. So we were able to hit that 31, which is really incredible, considering the amount of work that goes into building every single one of those ramps and planning. But that's kind of what's needed to be able to try at least to keep pace with the need for ramps that's been coming in. And I just want to say real quick, shout out to Tony from Indiana. What's up, Tony? Thanks for hanging out with us in Indiana. And just again, thank you so much to Kathy out there in Winnemac with your camera skills are amazing. So I gotta say, Kathy and Glenda are our two videographers right now for Winnemac and Martinsville. And these two women have been killing it with the live stream. Okay, I gotta say, women are beating men when it comes to being able to operate technology here this morning. So thank you very much. And
it's nice to get a good perspective and different angles, and just kind of seeing, like, being able to kind of see what's actually taking place, and again, the coordination, the effort that takes place, and and having those project managers out there being able to kind of efficiently articulate what needs to happen. And obviously you got to, if you have experience as a volunteer, then you kind of know what comes next, right? And just like you're already kind of tracking. And I mean, really looks like that Winnemac crew really has. I mean, we saw them do one this morning, but it seems like today wasn't their first day. They didn't wake up and grab a drill driver today. They've been at this for a little bit, and that's pretty cool, because that ramp is coming along rather quickly. I'm almost wondering. They're definitely, in my opinion, probably going to beat the 1 o'clock hour if I had to estimate in terms of when they're going to be done, for sure. That's the safe estimation. Probably a bit before that, but my goodness, that is looking really good, really fast.
And then shout out to the people on the Winnemac build from Tony. Tony says you guys are doing a great job. And he's a big fan of that Winnemac build there. I know, Tony, you did a shout out for Stephanie out there in Winnemac, helping build those ramps. And we wanted to say hi to Jeffrey. Jeffrey in Greenwood said his dad's going to be getting a ramp soon, and he thanks us for all that we do. And we said, thank you, Jeffrey, for, being on our live stream with us today and dropping in the chat and saying hello. You're part of the SAWS community now. So thanks for hanging out with us today. Yeah, it looks like these ramps are really coming together. Looking forward to Tim popping in, hopefully sooner rather than later, to give us a little interview out there in Thorntown. I mean, we've been talking about Thorntown so much. I really,
Yeah. And
yeah.
maybe we can get
I love
in.
Thorntown.
Yeah, maybe we can get some insight as to what's going on up there. And if you've ever been to Stookies, let us know if you like the catfish up there. I do. I was like, yeah, Stookies was the catfish place when I lived there, and that's like right down the road from Crawfordsville. So you just head east a little bit, and off you were, just because
Oh yeah, you lived out there in Crawfordsville, David?
I did almost 20 years out there in Montgomery County.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow, that's a long time.
that is a long time. West Central Indiana is very familiar to me. Very, very, very familiar to me. Versus we were slightly north of Indy, but not quite up there to Winnemac country and all that. We were close enough to the wind farms. We saw the trucks coming in delivering all the parts for the big turbines as they were on their way up there. But we were about 20 miles south from those big wind farms there, just north of Lafayette.
So little topic shift. I got a question for Rick. So Rick, it's real. This house in Winnemac is adorable. I love the trim and everything. I mean, that client just has a gorgeous home. So our ramps, would you recommend painting them or staining them, or like leaving them as is? How does that work for our wooden ramps?
Well, for the wooden ramps, since it is treated lumber, we recommend that the homeowner or renter just leave it as is for a minimum of 6 months. Let the treating chemicals dry. If you paint or stain one of our ramps, right at the very beginning, all the paint will do is just fall off.
Okay.
The chemicals that they use to treat it will keep it from adhering, at least until it dries out. After that, we recommend that they stain it, not paint it, so that the wood can continue to breathe. But the maintenance on it, and every client that we build for gets a maintenance brochure. So we let them know what they need to do, how to keep it safe, keep it clear. In this particular situation where there are a lot of trees, make sure you keep wet leaves off of it, because wet leaves and an incline are not safe. So we We give them a maintenance brochure, with each ramp that we build.
Then Tony suggested they should paint it black. I think maybe instead of paint, like maybe like a dark like ebony
Like a dark stain.
Yeah, that would be really beautiful, I think. I mean,
Sure.
I do love the color of the wood itself, but I know depending on the home, you might want to like alter that a little bit.
Yeah, and yeah, I've made that mistake with wood before, lumber. You get treated lumber.
You paint it and it just flakes right off.
And then I'm like, I want to get this done, and then you paint right over it and it just peels right off.
Yep.
Even if you overpay for like a 10-year paint, that paint's going to peel off in a year, and then you're going to be in a world of hurt trying to get that off. So yeah, I think staining is the way to go. Let the wood breathe. And then you get a better idea on the condition of the lumber as well. It's not necessarily hidden under paint. For some reason, the environment, some deck boards last longer than others, right? They don't all wear the same. So that at least allows you to keep an eye on it. But yeah, like a black stain on that ramp there in Winnemac, that'll look really good. And yeah, the kind of like that trim piece up top there. I don't know the exact construction term for what that is, but those little architectural features, you don't see them in today homes for sure. And it's a very charming house. Absolutely beautiful home.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ramp will go gray naturally.
Yeah.
If you just let it weather, it will basically go gray. And when it starts to go gray, then you can pretty successfully stain it, with any kind of good outdoor stain.
Yeah, I've always I've had a wood deck. I had a wood deck for a long time, and just patience is key. Just wait for the wood to do what it does, and then don't rush it, because otherwise, yeah. But that's awesome. Again, you're like, and I actually saw that in action at the ramp build that I got to see, where Walt handed them the pamphlet with the instructions and how to take care of it, and had some really nice words with them, and yeah, and it was just a really, really cool moment. And again, like, all the volunteers at the end of that build, standing around and just like, seeing that client's appreciation for everything they did, and our dedicated project managers out there kind of, again, not only going out there and doing something, but showing care and compassion in what they do. That was really cool to kind of see, just live in person. And, right now, again, 21 ramps, right? If my memory's, today,
Yeah. And
right?
that's
So
Virginia as well, which Virginia is participating. In Arizona, they were considering, but it's 108 degrees. Is that what you said, Rick, in Arizona? So they're not building this weekend. They don't have the weather that we do here in Indy
boy, the temperature
even though
variance
it's
between the valley and going up into the mountains, that's different. I'm guessing they're Phoenix Metro. Is that kind of yeah, and that is god awful hot.
Well, they build in Yuma, they build in Sonora, they build in places where they can't even spell shade.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some been out there a few times and seen some of I'm like, if you're up towards Flagstaff, you might look out with some shade in those pine forests. But you go down in the valley, you go south or southwest, there is nothing to hide underneath. It is just you are open to the sun. And there is so different sets of challenges for different different parts. And but again, like all these planning factors and being able to share this across several different states in how they participate, and obviously with it starting in Indiana and becoming so big in Indiana, and the Hoosier community kind of embracing that. That's just, I'll give props to being a native Midwesterner. I'll give props to Midwestern spirit and ethic of hard work, because you definitely see it in action. Laura and I always have these conversations about Midwesterners, and I'm like, yeah, we're pretty much the most awesome people on the planet. But yeah, but you see it today, and it's but again, I'm actually fortunate to kind of see this, from a tertiary view, if you will, and kind of um, and learn about the organization, and see it grow. And you guys talking about how to manage that successfully. And I mean, it's been obviously it's been successful thus far, and these are the fruits of the efforts of all the volunteers and everybody else involved.
Rick started this 21 years ago, right? Or 2003. Yep, 21 years.
And look at that, we're building 21 ramps today, and it's 21 years. Look at that.
I was just, it just dawned on me, the correlation between the number of ramps we're building today and the number of years that we've been doing this. That's kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. Little coinky dink for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, it's just kind of, it just goes to show that this was meant to be something that served the community there in Indiana, and looks to be there for as long as the community will have it, and keep supporting it in whatever way that actually looks like. And to be able to kind of do this, and just imagine if you're that family member or that person that's requested a ramp and was hopeful that they would um, that they would get one. They're sitting in their living room or their family room or even in their kitchen, wherever they're at in their home, and they're seeing all these people pour their heart and sweat, right? Sometimes busted knuckles out there in your front yard or your front walkway, whatever you've got there, to come out and build you this ramp. And as representing the efforts and the care of anybody that's ever been a part of the SAWS organization, and their heart feels really full today.
It's that's well said. Thank you, David Sauce fan, for all of your your Sauce support there. Yeah, so you were witness to the 4,000th ramp build, right? Earlier this year, right? So in the end of April, we were able to have our annual fundraiser and honor and support the building of our 4,000th ramp, which was in May. And we did that with Rehab Medical, who were our sponsors, and they came out and they volunteered, and they built a really beautiful ramp out there in Pendleton. And it was an incredible day. There was more volunteers than we needed for sure, but to be able to see everyone from, all the different levels of the organization come together and their team building, to be able to do that for our client and her husband out there in Pendleton was a really great day. She was so sweet. She gave everybody, she had snacks and refreshments for all the volunteers. And our client's husband was created these really cool SAWS keychains that he shared with everybody, and we were able to actually purchase more from him, and we shared those at our volunteer appreciation last month. So everybody that got a keychain at our volunteer appreciation, that was from a client's husband, that the recipient of our 4,000th ramp. So it's really cool to see the SAWS community, as I've said several times today, come together in different ways. Yeah, and so today we're watching some of our volunteers building ramps, but people show their love for this mission in different ways, and it's really amazing to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I still have my keychain. I hooked it up to one of the many keys I have, and it's just sitting there in my key box. And so it's in the rotation if I use that key or not. That was a pretty cool, well thought out, very thoughtful keychain. And yeah, they look really and they look great. Like those were really nice.
Yeah, that was really kind of him.
I think that's a really good point that bears emphasis. our community or our family, however you want to categorize or characterize saws, is made up of the most diverse group of people I think I have ever seen anywhere. In terms of skill levels, ages, I mean, it's just, it amazes me to see, well, I'm looking at Martinsville, and, you know, they've got people there that look like they're from their late 20s all the way up to Larry Winery, who's in his 80s. And I'm sure that it's fairly similar with Winnemac. And I know that one of the guys that worked on Tim's ramps, Tim's aluminum ramps, built wooden ramps for saws for years, and then just got to the point where he physically couldn't do it anymore. And now he's doing aluminum ramps, and he's in his 80s. You know, it's just the diversity is just, when diversity and inclusion and equality first became popular a few years back, we were asked questions about our adherence to those standards, and we're going, we've been doing it since day one. You know, we include anybody that wants to come. We're equally abusive of everybody that comes. You know, and the diversity is amazing. You know, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but in Martinsville, there's a lady there that's walking around with a ponytail, and that's Glenda. She's the head minister for the church that's providing volunteers for that. So it just, you know, it just absolutely warms my heart to know that not only do we have a program here that is helping people, but we've got a program here that includes anybody and everybody that wants to contribute.
So Tony chimed in the chat, and he said it's about 85 degrees, almost 89 degrees where he's at. And he asked how long this video is, and I will say that we did schedule this from 9 to noon, and it is now 12:09. However, we are still hoping that our executive director Tim would pop in and give us a little interview out there in Thorntown. So I know he is on his drive. We watched him install 2 aluminum ramps for 2 different clients earlier today. Just as in Winnemac, we're on our second ramp build here in Winnemac with Pat Roth and Kathy up in there and Bronability. So we're just we wanted to close out the day with our executive director. So we're hanging out here, hoping he can pop on when he gets out there. So anybody that wants to hang out with us while we wait for word from Thorntown's, much appreciated. But if you gotta pop off, I understand. Just don't forget to give like our video, give us a subscribe on our YouTube Saws Ramps channel. Make sure you check us out on Facebook. And we have a lot of Ramp-a-thon posts on our Facebook page. Make sure to share them with your family. Put your thoughts and opinions in there. Send us a comment, whatever. You know, we love all the good vibes and all the blessings out there coming from our Saws community. So thank you so much to everyone.
Yeah, and even if you can't hang out, this again, the recording's going to be available later. So, you know, if you can't catch the interview with Tim live, you know, you'll be able to kind of come back and watch that portion as well. Or you know, or any portion of this live stream, it'll be up. So yeah, you know, we're just hanging out, waiting, and you know, at this point, we're going to be able to look at that Winnemac build. Like, it's 10 after, like like I was like, it's just, that thing went up so fast. And it looks like did Martinsville go offline? Is that
Looks like, yeah, it looks like we lost Martinsville. We still got the Winnemac. and Tim should be here in about 20 minutes. So we'll see Tim pop in then. So I'm gonna do a quick share of our what's going on with our Ramp-a-thon Day of Giving fundraiser. Let me get this set up here. All right, so you can see that. So our Day of Giving, our goal again is $5,000, which seems like a lot, but really when it comes down to it, that those materials are going to be able to serve you know, somewhere between, you know, 1 to 3 clients, depending on what they need in their home. So the average cost of a ramp is $1,500 for materials alone. And then the cost of an aluminum ramp can be almost 3 times that. But of course, this is a lot more. We provide these free to our clients, and it's a lot more affordable for SAWS to do this with our organization than for a client to go out and try to, you know, source these materials and pay for labor on themselves. So it's really our mission to make sure that we're able to give freedom and accessibility to anyone that needs it, whether or not that they can afford it. All right, so thank you to all 22 people who have donated today. We're at $2,314 towards our goal of 5,000, so about halfway there. So awesome, very exciting. This has been just, I mean, it's lunchtime and we're already halfway to goal. That's really incredible. So we have our whole day for trying to make it to our goal. Our top donation today, again, is our $500 incredible anonymous donation. Thank you so much, Anonymous. Whether you share your name or not, we love you the same. And then we have our recent gifts from Robert and Jeffrey. Those are our watchers here today. Robert, I believe you are a future ramp recipient. Jeffrey, that's your dad. Thank you so much, both of you, for your incredible contributions towards your ramp. That's as you can see today, the volunteers, and get a preview of what's gonna be going on down at your house. So thank you so much for your incredible generosity. You guys are really a great example of people in our SAWS community. Thank you again also to David for your incredible generosity today with your donation. Anonymous, Linda, who's designated her gift for St. Joe's County, Mary, Deborah, Douglas, Sarah, sending the love, Anonymous, sending blessings and thanks to the SAWS community, Anonymous, Shirley, Jan, Jerry, Milford, we love Milford, Byron, and Anonymous sending thanks, Anonymous again, and Denise. Thank you guys so much. And Shelly, thank you again for all of our donors. Y'all are amazing. We could not do any of this without you. So thank you so much to our donors and anybody that has ever given in the past, to all of our volunteers, to our supporters, everybody watching and sharing our Ramp-a-thon on Facebook. Y'all are the real ones. Thank you so much for being part of our community.
And so one of the things you touched on, Laura, and I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe I'm putting Rick on the spot here. Has there been, and probably not, he probably has the answer to this, but we talked about the difference between or she mentioned the difference between somebody trying to purchase a ramp on their own, right, with labor and materials, and obviously what SAWS does with the materials and the volunteers. Like, has there been any, you know, ballparking it, any idea on the amount of savings that has actually provided for somebody not commercially built versus built through SAWS?
Good question. Good question. And yes, we have researched that over the years. And normally speaking, if our average ramp is $1,500, that same average ramp built by a contractor, a licensed contractor, is going to be between 5,000 and 6,000.
And so that's the idea of making your dollar go a little bit longer right? In terms of the amount, what you get out of it in terms of purchasing power, let's call it that, and how many ramps you could build, because that's, that's shoot, if it's $6,000, that's anywhere between 3 and 4 ramps could be built for that same price point.
Right. Well, and the thing that is most dramatic about that figure, or actually the most dramatic thing about the $1,500 average that we have for our materials, is that that's very close to the average monthly income of our clients. We have clients that have Social Security that they live on that's less than $1,000 a month. And so a $1,500 ramp, even if all they were doing was paying for the materials, that $1,500 would be a month's worth of income or perhaps more. So,
That's-
it's the idea of $6,000 for a ramp is just not in the cards for our average client.
Yeah, and that's really important to note too. It's definitely something that's relative to the income levels, and obviously the people, prospective clients that you're looking to get out there and help, could be in a bad way in terms of their what they're living off of versus what they got coming in. I know nowadays I don't know that there's too many people that have been unimpacted, right, by pricing challenges. And so to be able to kind of do that on a consistent basis and have whether it's corporate builds, whether it's individual donations, whether recurring donations, grants from foundations, whatever the source is, just knowing that they're maximizing the amount of as they're cleaning up the Winnemac build, like look at this, cleaning it up at this point.
We're about ready to lose them. They're going to be done here
they're going to be done real soon, and then it's you, me, and Laura talking for a little bit till Tim comes online, and we could wrap things up. But no, it's just the amount of effort, dollar stewardship, compassion, and everything that's happening. Like that's the difference, right? The difference between possibly half of somebody's annual income potentially that it would cost to build one of these things commercially, and what Saws is trying to do is trying to do that at no impact to them other than their time, a little bit of time, but other than that, this is it takes a lot of good people, right, with big hearts to kind of do these things. And now you're looking at this and look, another ramp completed. They're just dusting everything off, and they're probably getting ready to present this to the client, and that's pretty cool.
Hang on a second, David. Hey, Kathy, is there a possibility of getting the client out on the ramp?
Blown off yet?
Okay, we're off mute.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Hi
How's
there.
everybody doing? Hey, great day.
Absolutely.
Started at 8, done with 2 by
12:30.
12:30. Everybody's
And
hungry.
I can't understand what took you so long, Pat.
He doesn't understand what took so long, Pat.
Probably. I got to be careful. My boss is here, Rick.
Oh, is Casey there?
No, Rick
Casey's
Nelson,
not.
my boss.
Oh, your boss. Okay.
Yeah, my boss. The guy who lets me do this.
Ah, okay. All right. Is there any chance of getting a picture with the client on the ramp?
Yep, I was going to go in and see if we get him to come out now.
Super. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So we get a little bit of a look in, and that ramp came together so fast.
Right.
But he can get him, right?
Yeah, they started unloading a little bit before 10:30.
Here, that's what we did here?
Yeah, it's about what time you guys got there. Yeah.
Okay.
Up on the ramp, please.
I'd say that was pretty darn.
I need somebody's camera. Well, I can do mine.
All those clients, all those volunteers coming together for that final shot. I love it when we can get that final blessing.
I'll
from
get it.
the
I'll get it.
client, too.
I can, I shrunk them and I'll do a picture. Pat, you want your picture?
They're getting a little snapshot in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Kathy's taking a still while
Yep.
she's off camera.
Yep. Nope. So again, pretty cool. That's pretty cool to see today. Like all those ramps and everything
Oh, it
being
won't let
built
me.
in that. Like that was
What's on you?
the different variety and everything else, and just kind of scattered all over the state. That was pretty cool.
They want to get your picture over here.
That way.
Well, when we do this next year for our second annual Ramp-a-thon,
Oh, just one more.
oh man, that is just
In the
that's
camera.
Yeah, this is cool.
Hey, down, not broken. And that's a wrap on us.
okay. Thank
Yes.
you. You did a wonderful
Thank you so
job.
much. That was awesome.
Just great.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.
They put in a lot of work. They did more work in 4 hours than most people do in a month. My goodness.
Yeah, it's amazing. So now you're left with the talking heads.
Yeah.
If there's anything I like doing is talking, but I appreciate the opportunity to come out and hang out here with you guys and poke around with questions and
Sure.
and yeah, I was like, I had a list of questions here that I was just like, oh, I need to ask about this and ask about that. And, and like, and Rick, you didn't get stumped on any of them. I was just like, he said, yeah, good question, but here's the answer. I'm like, oh, no way. So
Yeah.
unless I get absolutely ridiculous with the questions next time, I'm not gonna sneak one by you. But again, I think that just goes to show that there's a lot of people that are really passionate about what's happening at SAWS and what the mission is and trying to take care of most especially like the people that are out there doing the work, the volunteers, but and then our clients as well. And that's like, again, I go back to that. I'm like, that's pretty cool. And that still shot on the ramp, that picture that they take, they can distribute it to all those volunteers, and those volunteers are going to have that forever. And even if it's the only ramp they ever build, right? That'll be a feeling that they chase.
Hopefully they our volunteers, we give out our green sauce t-shirts, as you've seen in the live stream, and as Rick is so kindly
He's modeling it
today. Yes.
Yeah.
So our volunteers get those green sauce t-shirts, so they have that memory as well of their support for our mission to build accessibility. I am wearing a SAWS celebrating 4,000 ramps sweatshirt today. I got this from our website. We have a store on our website, sawsramps.org/store. And you can buy all types of SAWS gear. If the t-shirt provided you on our volunteer ramps is not to your liking, we also have hats, and we have other types of beverage receptacles and that kind of thing. Also nail aprons, which our volunteers love. So when you're out on that build, sometimes you just need that
few extra pockets.
Cargo space.
Yeah.
So we have our SAWS nail aprons, which are really affordable. I believe they're under $25. They might be, I'm not exactly sure the price, but I know it's under 25, and you can just like throw all your nails in there. So when you're out there screwing in those deck boards, you have your hardware handy.
Yeah, I just and during the stream, I'm like always like the idea guy, and so I'm gonna try and talk Laura into talking everybody else into a new T-shirt idea. So it was pretty cool. So, but yeah, no, check out the store out. Check out the store as well. And again, thanks for letting me hang out, chat up a storm, get my questions answered, and see and witness these builds live on stream. We're probably like 5 minutes out from Tim kind of joining us. Guesstimate here. I'm just ballparking the time here. I haven't even looked at the clock and
Hopefully.
all right. Okay, Laura. So where are we at on donations? Did we move anymore? Or were we right around 50%?
We're still at $2,314 of our towards our 5,000 goal, so just short of 50%. So we haven't had any new donors. We're still sitting at 22 people have donated. We'd really love it if anybody else wanted to chip in, even $5. Just show us that you're there, show us that you love us, show us that your dedication to accessibility and building freedom for our neighbors out here in Indiana and beyond. So just head to the link. It's pinned in our chat and on the YouTube channel. And then also it's on our Facebook. It's a PayPal link. However, you don't need to have a PayPal account to donate. You can donate with a debit card or a credit card. It's super easy, very secure. Just let us know how much you want. You could add any amount in there. And really help us towards our goal of reaching $5,000 today on our Ramp-a-thon Day of Giving. This momentum that we've built today is so incredible. All of our volunteers out there building, our clients that are receiving their ramps for the first time today, our community that's hanging out in the chat and out there and out there in social media. Thank you, Byron, for all of your trivia in the chat as well.
Absolutely.
This has been such an
every chat
incredible
needs a
day.
troll. So
Yeah,
thanks, Byron. No, and then also
I don't think that I don't know if everybody realizes
no,
that
it's
like
kind of funny.
troll
They're
is
like they
not
don't
like
even
a
know what that
bridge
means.
troll, but
I
it's
know.
like people like talking smack on the internet is what
It's like jokes most
yeah.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
just like
what
little jokes.
it's an internet term.
They're like
Yeah.
what is
I
this
was
guy
like,
talking about?
yeah, I
And
want to
then
make sure the
also
audience knows your insider internet lingo. Is that
yeah, I'm
that's what I
modern. But what if so how long is that link going to be up for the donation
We
drive?
will have that up for the rest of the day. I'll probably leave it up tomorrow as well. So it's the whole day we're looking to reach our goal, to be able to support our mission and build some more ramps, and be able to serve more people. Every
And
dollar goes towards, trying to serve as many people and build as many ramps for those, 30 applications we get a week, and just working towards making sure that everybody's able to have the access that they need and that they deserve.
if future us is watching, how do we donate if that link is down?
Oh, sawsramps.org/donate. That is the forever link. Okay. Our website, sawsramps.org. And then go to donate. There's a button at the top, button on the side. Okay. You just go right there. So currently, actually, we're in the process of revamping our donation page. So we do have some links and you're able to donate through that page. But it's not as fancy as it normally looks. That's why I'm trying to we're going through our PayPal campaign for the Ramp-a-thon, but we should have that up. We're actually moving. We've received an incredible grant from Lily, and we're transitioning our behind the scenes software that we use to support all of our database to a new high tech, more efficient system. So that's kind of what we're doing behind the scenes. So y'all see all the ramps getting built and all the screws getting driven and everything like that. But there's also a lot of kind of tech admin stuff that happens as well too. So that's kind of what's been going on behind the scenes. So in the meantime, if we're having all of our donations go through our PayPal processor, because that way it's secure and it's efficient, and we receive a discount on fees from PayPal because we are a 501 3C nonprofit. So we do have those tax benefits from the IRS. So that's kind of what's been going on there. But yeah, so for today, go to the link in the chat for our Ramp-a-thon giving page. And then if you're streaming into this later in the future, just head to our website, sawsramps.org/donate. And our donation page will be up there. So Byron says, couple comments. David, thank you for your color commentary and cheerleading. He is glad to troll for this purpose. And he says, great camera work throughout the state. Tons of thanks to the volunteers who've cheerfully freed these folks today. Yeah. So well said, Byron. Thank you.
I'm glad.
Well,
I
let's
could
not
use
over-
my most preferred skill. Well, not by Laura, but by some talking. I do like to talk. Yep, I'm a chatty. I'm
Grade A
a chatter.
yapper.
Big yapper. Yep.
Well, and let's not overlook those that maybe joined us sometime today that might like to go out there and drive some screws and cut some boards. You know, the website has a volunteer button. Actually, I think it's got 2 volunteer buttons. And once you register as a volunteer, you're able to go into our database and see all the builds that are going on everywhere, and just pick and choose your time and your place and come out and enjoy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And again, what's the skill, Rick, that they need to have in order to volunteer? What do they got to be able to do?
I am living proof that anybody can build a ramp.
There we
As
go.
Tim says, I have all 10 fingers.
There we go.
And I can still walk on my own. So, you know, you don't have to worry about having any skill. It's something that is pretty easy to adapt to.
Yep, and that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So if you ever wanted to spend your weekend doing something fulfilling, there's a whole laundry list of things to do if you register as a volunteer. That's pretty cool. Nice little catalog of things that you could do, places you could be, people you could work with, and or meet. So that's a pretty amazing thing. And again, like whenever I see those ramp builds completed, like I'm looking at that and I'm just like, oh my God, like look at how happy the client is, and look at how satisfied, the look of satisfaction on the volunteer's face. And oh my word, I'll stop talking now.
Yes, look at this. Thank you so much. Okay, so we have a new donation that has come in, a new top donation here. You can, let's see, how can I see myself?
I see it right there. It looks great. Yep,
can
it's
see
right.
me?
It's right above you.
Okay.
We can see it.
All right, so Steve Youngbauer unseated our anonymous donation and is now our top donor with very generous donation of $1,020.80. Thank
My
you so
goodness.
much, Stephen. Really appreciate your incredible generosity. You are, I know Steve is a long-term SAWS supporter and a SAWS fan and part of the SAWS community. And Stephen, really thank you so much. We're just blown away by your generosity. You always make sure to make a place for SAWS in your life, and we're really grateful for that. So thank you so much. And now we are definitely over the 50% of the way to goal. This is so exciting.
This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. It's complete. Okay, awesome. Are we gonna get so did Tim show up there too late, you think?
Yes, he got there after they were done.
Oh, he doesn't want to pop on and say hi? No? Okay. All right. I would love it. Can you ask him to pop on and say hi, and then we can wrap this up? Come on, Tim, come say hi. It really is just incredible what our community has been able to do today with our Ramp-a-thon. We've had another incredibly generous donation from Tim Stevens. Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much. Tim just supported us with a $306 contribution. Again, if you support us on the Ramp-a-thon, you can elect to be anonymous, or you can elect to leave us a message. We have received some really sweet messages from people. God bless the volunteers, and messages from clients who have received ramps from our volunteers and from our nonprofit. And so thank you everyone who has contributed so far to our Ramp-a-thon. We are what, 36 points. So, oh, we're about 70% to goal. 70% to goal. We've watched that happen in real time. Not only do we watch ramps being built in real time, we've watched the community come together to raise money, to build more ramps, and to continue this process. We watch that in real time. That is so cool.
And again, just because I'm a numbers guy, right? We talked about, if these folks were having to try and fund, right, a ramp, and this is the cash price, right? It would be give or take as high as $6,000 perhaps to build one of these ramps. And if that's not in the cards for them in terms of paying cash for one, for sure, right? If they're talking now, you're talking about financing it. And depending on where they're at, and with higher interest rates right now, as it stands currently, you're talking $8,000-9,000 by the time you total of contract payments on some sort of loan. That's probably gonna have to be unsecured, as I nerd talk on loans, but just think of the money that's being saved by allowing SAWS to service these clients. It's really what I'm trying to say, is that every donation helps SAWS do it, and SAWS does it professionally. They do it with care, and they do it with efficiency. As I continue to learn, all the questions that I have continue to be answered, and so I have to go back to the drawing board to make sure I find more questions to ask to figure out what it is that they haven't thought of yet. But I think it's absolutely amazing, and there's a lot of good people involved with the organization, and it's always nice to see those faces at different events and at different places, kind of coming together and feeling really good about what they're doing, and what the community at large is building.
Laura?
Yes.
Tim said he can't log in, so I think we're done.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you to everyone out there. Really appreciate everybody. And check your email, check your Facebook. We're still doing our Ramp-a-thon today. Still happening until the end of the day. We're 70% to go. We're gonna keep going. But thank you for popping in for the live stream. And to all of our volunteers out there, make sure you have a good lunch. And God bless and to our donors as well. Thank you to all of our donors. Sending those blessings to our SAWS community. All right. Have
Thanks for
a
having me.
good rest
Bye.
of your weekend. Thank you.